The Falken RT660 is the enthusiast choice for ultra-high performance. Engineered for predictable handling and stability, the RT660 provides maximum traction both on and off the track. Your competitive edge has arrived with the Falken RT660.
At Holley, we're gearheads too, so we decided to create a one-stop shop for all things automotive, a place we call Motor Life. Motor Life is Holley's new completely free digital magazine that houses the how-to stories, car features, news, and videos that car folks love. To check it out, head on over to motorlife.com and don't forget to subscribe to our Motor Life newsletter so you won't miss any of this great car-centric content.
My name came up a lot of sounds, more when I was not around. Certain people that I know, they ain't no longer about. Certain people that I know, they ain't no longer about.
Stop your feet once again. This is the final round of the Formula Drift. Let's send it Irwindale. That's that A-game that we were talking about. A phenomenal lead run. Make some noise, Irwindale. He regained that front
Got a fake one with the hard face. Bet that puts in your tongue, make your heart face. Trip, again, get your mother, hands up. You a real again, get your mother, hands up, hands up, hands up, hands up, hands up.
Are you guys ready to stand up? The Type S title fight is here. We kicked things off earlier today with Pro Spec, the Link ECU Pro Spec Championship Round 4, but this is Round 8 of the Touring Items Type S Formula Drift title fight at the House of Drift, culminating our season here. And 18 years we've been wrapping it up here, and we'll find out tomorrow night who will be our pro champion. And things have heated up. We kicked things off in Atlanta. Normally it's Long Beach, but just most recently we had round 7 at the streets of Long Beach, not too far from this very location. You can see the lights are on. The stands are going to be thick tomorrow, but thank you so much for joining us live. We are now going into knockout qualifying. I am Jared Deanna. Joined me once again, joined my side, excuse me, is Ryan Sage. Ryan, we saw Pro Spec qualifying earlier. Now we're going into pro qualifying. What are your expectations? What's at stake? I mean, there's so much going on.
No, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. There is so much. I mean, we have the championship story. We got the last event of the year. We've got one of the tightest and most wide championship chases we've had probably the past 10 years. I mean, the first through third place is within 20 points, all the way up to Ryan Tuerck could mathematically win it. That's basically 6 guys that are in contention, but here is the top 5. Aasbo, Denofa, Field, Bakchis, and Vaughn Gittin Jr. We've had many different themes throughout this season. We had the Denofa 3-win season. Yep. We've had Odi with 2 wins, but a little bit of quiet time in the middle. We've seen Fredric Aasbo slowly but surely assert himself in the championship and get that win in round 6. And he is currently the leader in the championship, which is a first for the season. So we've got an incredible matchup. Qualifying obviously is going to kind of set the stage for what's to come this weekend. And once the bracket is set, we're going to be able to talk about real matchups and hypothetical matchups as we close in on the championship.
Yeah, that's just really what it comes down to in regards to tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, we talk about Aasbo, Denofa, Field. Those are the three to watch. You know, currently top three in the standings, it's, as you said, separated by only 20 points. Denofa looking for his 4th win this season, but that's what's crazy is Denofa sitting in second, 19 points behind Fredric Aasbo. With all of those wins, that just goes to show you, I mean, a few years ago, Chris Forsberg won a championship without winning an event.
Yeah.
So that's all about consistency, kind of creeping, lurking in the shadows. Odi Bakchis, you know, he started the season strong. He's 43 points behind. Something crazy would need to happen in order for him to gain that championship.
He's got
but
the
you never know.
bookend story right now, right? He started off strong, had kind of the weakness in the middle, and now has kind of come back and continue where he kind of left off a couple seasons ago, where he was a real contender, and he still is.
As we take a look there at Denofa and Vaughn Gittin Jr., notably, if you heard about it earlier this week, or if you did not, you might be finding out for the first time ever that that gentleman right there announced earlier this week, Yoshihara, a veteran since 2004, is walking away from competitive Formula Drift. You know, this isn't goodbye. It's kind of see you later. He's kind of leaving it open-ended. He's got a lot of opportunity. I mean, Yoshihara, Pikes Peak record holder. You know, he's doing road racing with Spoon Sports. And then you got Vaughn Gittin Jr. You know, he's the defending champion. Championship is out of grasp. He started in 2004, won the championship in 2010, won it in 2020, and here he is. He is saying, it's not goodbye, it's see you later. He's a very busy man with RTR Fun Haver. He's doing Ultra 4 racing, but overall, that's kind of some big news. We won't see them in the 2022 season.
Every run that we see this weekend could potentially be the last for some time. I mean, Dai is actually, he's using the R word. He's saying retiring. And in talking to him, I don't think that he has plans to come back in the future. I don't think that this is stepping away in the sense that Vaughn is talking about it. I know Vaughn intends to come back. The question is going to be when. So we are going to be seeing something like a historical moment here every time we see Daijiro Yoshihara get up and take that run.
Yeah.
He captured a championship here in 2011 in fantastic form.
Yeah. And
his compatriot, Vaughn Gittin Jr., just got his 2nd last year.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, these guys are just legends of the sport. And you see, you know, the Sam Hubinetts, the Reese Millens, the Tanner Faust, they're still in the automotive culture. They're not, you know, competing in Formula Drift, but they're definitely around. So that's kind of a big shaking up. We saw the videos. If you haven't seen them, go ahead and go to their social media platforms and check them out. I think it's really great just to see how dynamic and how thankful they are for the family that they've actually just kind of built over the years. But overall, again, our 2021 pro schedule, we kick things off. Normally we kick things off in Long Beach, but due to the pandemic, shut it down. We had just our most recent round prior to this in Long Beach, so round 7 as opposed to round 1. But you talk about all the different podiums. What do you think of the track? I talked to Chris Forsberg. He says the car is gripping up more like crazier than he's ever gripped up before. What are some of the kind of murmurs you're hearing and going off of Prospect qualifying? What are your expectations?
Well, I think for fans that are new to the sport or maybe haven't watched every single broadcast, the thing that stands out the most is that over the past couple of years, we've been playing with this kind of right-hand hook around the Christmas tree down there. And this year is the first year that we have K-Rail outlining that outside zone. It's giving us a more defined course. It allows drivers to kind of drag their bumper along that wall. It's a question of how that's going to play out with regards to tandem. In qualifying for Prospect, I think a lot of people handled it really well, and giving drivers an opportunity to really kind of see where the edge of the course is a really good visual benefit. So I think that's a standout part. But we have to remember the history of Irwindale is so baked into the sport. I mean, every major drifting first probably happened here. So, you know, this is going back, you know, close to 20 years now. And as we're approaching, you know, our 20th season in a couple of years, there's a reason why it's called the House of Drift. It's unlike any of the other short course oval style tracks that we go to, not just because of the way that it is physically set up, but because of the deep history.
Yeah.
And the things that we've seen here. I mean, I can just go back to James Dean, his 3rd championship, which was won on the very last battle of the night,
right.
2-1 more times, where a struggling Vaughn Gittin Jr. came out of nowhere and beat Fredric Aasbo in the finals, who would have stopped the three-peat of
right.
James Dean. So And there's many, many more of those that Daigo
Like you said, well, you
era.
said Dai Yoshihara. Dai had the championship. He crashes. Justin Pawlak, it's going to be his. He crashes, and Dai gets it back.
Yeah.
Right? And so, and even prior to this, let's just call it what it is. Like D1, you guys having the foresight of bringing drifting here prior to Formula Drift being founded. And then, you know, with that kind of separation of the relationship, Formula Drift was grown. So I think all those things really add to just the story and the folklore of this track.
I think that's right. And what I love about this event weekend is at some point, as we take a look at the Tuerck Drift course preview here, is that at some point on this track that we're seeing here in Tuerck Drift, but also in reality, there's going to be a driver that's sitting down and waiting for his moment to be called champion.
Okay.
And it happens at different times. Last year was different for Vaughn, and you know, maybe it will be him again. He's got some work to do, but this gives you some good perspective here of what the course layout kind of looks like. You've got the two big outside zones early on, and you've got two inside clips, and then the final outside zone, which has proven to be a little bit more simpler than the other outside zones. The other outside zones have a high risk reward scenario going on there. You need to get up against that wall, especially from inside clip 1 to outside zone 2. A very dangerous area in terms of getting the timing right, utilizing your angle to slow down, and being careful to be on the right line and not go into that wall.
Earlier today in Prospect Qualifying, a lot of the drivers, latter, you know, lower standing drivers, had a lot of difficulty initiating, gripping up, and the car shooting down towards the bottom and actually going off course. That's how we saw a lot of incompletes or zeros in that fact. So overall, you know, a lot of stress is put onto that outside zone 1, the big wall ride transitioning down, as you say, in the inside clip 1. The precarious one that will really catch you off guard, as you said, outside zone 2.
Yeah.
A little bit of a knuckle before you go in there, so you have to kind of navigate past that and just slide that car into that outside zone. Makes it look exciting. And we talked about it in Long Beach. With the walls defining the edge of the course, as opposed to Atlanta, you know, you go off into the dirt. Long Beach, there is no gray area. You're either wall, you're clean, you're tapping it, or you write yourself off. So that's what I really like about outside zone 3 here this round, as opposed to previous Irwindales overall.
Yeah, it absolutely is a fantastic course as we see how this 100 points breaks down. We were told by the style judge, Chris Yule, that the focus for him in terms of deductions on style is going to be concentrated in 2 places. It's going to be on the initiation and on inside clip number 1. And then he's going to be judging fluidity throughout the entirety of the track. We did see some relative consistency in the style scores, where the way that he's doing it is he's basically taking off points as you are not performing at the level. Whereas with line and angle, it's really adding points, because the sectors, you're accumulating points as you go through it.
Yeah, there is the K-rail. That's what we're talking about, outside zone 3. The judge is actually out there striping the course while we're scrubbing it down. A lot of tile particulates out there, but can see the red shoes. That's Ryan Lontaine there, and these are the points that are at stake. First place, 100 points. Second place, 91. Third and fourth, 80. 67 for 5th through 8th, and then 52. But no points at stake here for qualifying. But as you said, what's at stake is how you are bracketed up.
I think that's everything. I mean, obviously you have to do the work of tandem, but the difference between, you know, an extremely stacked quadrant in the bracket versus, you know, getting lucky and getting maybe what you might consider as a driver an easier bracket, it could be the difference in a championship. And look at how tight it is from Aasbo, Denofa to Field. I mean, it's 20 points. That means that, you know, we could potentially have a tie if Matt Field were to win and Aasbo were to get 3rd or 4th place. And then
let's not even talk about that at this juncture right now. But I like what you said about brackets and no points at stake here. It's the opportunity to really showcase and reflect how that drive. I kind of talked about how qualifying reflects where that driver's at, how the car is running, how the marriage of man and machine blend together to create their qualifying, their solo run, right? Their time to shine. And then also, ideally, you have your number 1 qualifier over here on the left side of the bracket, and you have your number 2 qualifier theoretically building for them to meet in the finals.
And we've seen a lot of that this year. In the finals,
like 1 through 5.
It's been 1, 4, 5, 6. You know, 1, 2, 5, 4. And you can see here that the kind of the theme that you were hearkening towards about, You know, Denofa sitting in second now, but with those 3 wins, is actually a pretty interesting statistic, right? I mean, obviously he's right there, right? He's 19 points away. It's a hair's breadth. We've seen kind of this back and forth battle between those 3 guys. Matt Field has had a tremendous season. It's been a breakout season for him. He's changed a lot in his program, in his mindset, in his approach. I think everybody from the time that we set eyes on Chelsea Denofa said that guy's going to be a champion one day. And Aasbo is already a champion. He is always a threat. He's basically in the prime of his career, and they've done so much development with that vehicle. And even for this round, he's got a brand new engine, a brand new power plant. Who knows how that's going to factor in overall. We have seen some situations with him that are not necessarily related to power plant, but to suspension, where he didn't get an opportunity to fight for those wins. And so that could have been a difference maker. And, you know, we always love to do that. Oh, if this happened, then that happened. And, you know, that would have been a big difference. But everything is history now. And what we're going to see in front of us this weekend is going to determine who your 21 champ is.
And usually the things that you don't expect actually do happen. Yeah. So when we come back, we will be seeing and going right into knockout qualifying here. Round 8, this is the Type S title fight. Formula Drift Championship will be crowned tomorrow night. But first, we have to do our knockout qualifying when we return here to the House of Drift.
The Falken Azenas RT660 is the enthusiast's choice for ultra-high performance. Engineered for predictable handling and stability, the RT660 provides maximum traction both on and off the track. Your competitive edge has arrived with the Falken Azenas RT660.
What's up, everyone? We're pumped to announce Ford's Drift to Dirt Sweepstakes, where you can win your choice of a newly redesigned 2021 F-150 Raptor featuring Fox shocks with live valve technology, 5-link rear suspension, and Recaro seats.
Or you can win a 2021 Ford Mustang GT convertible, which you can shred the tires with 460 horsepower and 6 styling.
All you have to do is head to drifttodirt.com and enter to win.
NGK makes ignition coils. Why? Because we prefer a running partner that can keep pace. We know ignition, and since our spark plugs don't run alone, we put some of our energy and expertise into making better coils. NGK ignition coils are engineered to OE durability and performance. And because we race to win, we improve the design, testing, and validation of our coils for better performance. NGK spark plugs and coils, better together.
Welcome back here to the House of Drift, the Type S Formula Drift title fight. We just striped the track, cleaned it up, restriped it. The lights are on. Thank you so much for joining us out here. Just slowly warm things up, casual Friday. But as we just talked about here in our opener, how critical it is on where you qualify, where you land. We will kick things off with our #1 ranked driver, and that is Fredric Aasbo. Here are the knockout qualifying goals. Ryan, elaborate, if you will.
have spent considerable time talking to the athletes and drivers in drivers meetings leading up to this. They know what line they're supposed to run, obviously maximizing angle while maintaining momentum. Rate to angle on the initiation has been talked about quite a bit ad nauseum this weekend. They really want to see that aggressive flick. They don't necessarily care about the type of entry, but they just want the rate of angle to be very fast and quick, and then obviously those fast and smooth transitions, particularly important in the style category for fluidity.
Yeah, that rate to angle, you'll see that really play a role in on that first outside zone 1, the green into the yellow there, how quickly they do it, you know, the 3-2-1 cones and where that begins, and it's lit up by those Type S lights on the outside of that bank. And you know, again, the judges that you gotta impress, they are Chris Yule, Ryan Lontaine, and Brian Egger. They'll be up here in just a little bit. That's Ryan and I up here in the booth. Chris Yule, Ryan, and Brian Egger. Brian Egger will be your line judge. Lontaine will be your angle judge, and finally Chris Yule will be our style judge. They're just walking in now, and we are getting prepared to see our first driver, and that is the Rockstar Energy Drink Toyota GR Supra of Fredric Aasbo. And yeah, you bring up a
Judges
great point.
and painters, here they come.
Yeah, they do it all.
They do it all.
They do it all.
Look at those beautiful lines.
Stripes it up, looking like a proud landscaper of a Major League Baseball field. Okay, and Brian, like I said, you brought up a great point of Fredric Aasbo changes his engine. It's more like the suspension was more of the issue, and like you said, the suspension popping out, their wheels, and you know, Irwindale, with a lot of the drivers knowing the course, I'm gonna make a prediction here. I think we're gonna see a lot of one more times tomorrow night. Like just calling it out right now. I just, you know what I mean? Like I just feel like that's what I expect.
Well, I mean, you're in a very privileged position because you have literally watched every single run since the beginning of the sport, and you know that when we get to this event, things change thematically, right? The drivers, it's not that they're willing to write off a car, but if that happens, we don't have to go to another round 2 weeks from now. So you tend to see, I mean, this is how I feel, but you tend to see an elevated approach. I always feel like the cars are faster, driving with more angle, they're taking bigger risks, and even sometimes earlier in competition. So I'm fascinated to see how qualifying plays out here and whether or not the consistency in the approach and driving we see will carry over to the head-to-head matchups.
Kind of a little bit of a YOLO mentality, you know, just go for it. You only live once, so just throw caution to the wind, or better yet, the back end of a Toyota Supra into the wall, risk it for the biscuit, as they say. So the Nitto tires are being warmed up there underneath that Rockstar Energy Drink Toyota GR Supra of Fredric Aasbo, the Norwegian Hammer. Been following him on IG. Him and his lady, Hunter, been spending a lot of time down in San Diego, so that's great. See them having some fun, doing some off-roading, and also, you know, I feel. What's your take? Where have you talked to Freddie about the championship? What's at stake? Because in previous years he's been like, oh well, like if I don't win, it's okay, it goes to the better man. I have to think it's like he's got to be like, dude, I got to get it this year. What, have you talked to him at all? What's your take? Or
he's very Iceman to me. I think, you know, he's always cool, calm, and collected. I've never, maybe inside there's something like that, but that's not what I get from him. He always has a very like humble approach. He takes things as they come, whether or not, you know, he thinks he got the raw side of a result or something like that, or the car breaking or whatever it is. He's always kind of maintained a very stoic attitude towards, you know, winning and drifting, but that doesn't mean that he's not a beast behind it.
That's right. Here we go. Fredric Aasbo initiates on the bank, nice and high. That's exactly what we expect from our current points leader. I mean, almost tapping that tiny duckbill wing on the wall. The Type S lights are going up, looking good. Woo! There we go. This is how we start things off. Well done by Fredric Aasbo, Norwegian Hammer, just barely nudging the gold nose, knocking over that front flip. I mean, come on, does it get any better than this? Ryan, I mean, right out of the gate, that was darn near perfect, if not perfect.
You know, just on the basis of the first run, you always say, oh, well, now this is our standard moving forward, and everything else is going to be based off of this. I would be surprised if we saw something better than this. I mean, there is not a lot of mistakes here. Aggressive flick right into the bank, nice and high. You notice that he locks into the line, and he basically stays there. He's not moving up, he's not moving down, and he's super close.
Are you kidding?
Nice momentum. Maybe could have been a couple inches closer to that inside clip, but locked in on this second outside zone. So the high-risk areas, he actually did with the kind of risk that you want. And then this last section here is just disgusting. I mean, right into the pocket, all the way up against the wall, and full throttle all the way through. I mean, this is for sure going to be mid-90s. I don't know how the judges may or may not pick this apart, but it's hard to see what he did wrong there.
I mean, knocking over that cone, I mean, Ryan, I would say it's a detriment that he went first. If he would have went second, I would say this is almost a 100-point run. I mean, I think that's a real detriment. I mean, I think they got to check the paint to see if he even scuffed it, maybe even a little bit. As you see the guys down there, you see Sean Hillier inspecting the car. I mean, right? Do you agree with me? It's kind of a detriment that he went first out of the gate.
No, I mean, you know, the judges are going to judge it based on the criteria. That's what we expect of them. But I think I'm glad that we're seeing it from this perspective, because you can see, you know, if they want to peel off a few points here and there for, you know, having that front left just graze the, you know, the white mark on the zone, you could see that happening. So I'm making a case against the 100-point run.
Yeah, no, I get it.
But I mean, I mean, he's going to be in the top 32.
Oh, no, I don't know. I don't know. We got a lot of drivers here. Also, keep that in mind. On our drivers list, I am seeing 33 drivers, and I believe, and there it is, a 95. So a 95 for Fredric Aasbo. But I'll tell you what, one heck of a 95.
Yeah, it's a really good run. I mean, 1 point off of style, which means he probably got. Did he get knocked on initiation or inside clip one? So inside clip one. And remember, we were saying he could have been a couple inches closer, and then line and angle. I think, yeah, I feel
splitting
good.
hairs.
Feel good about that.
All right, so here we go. Currently second in points, just 19 points behind our leader.
But don't tempt Chelsea Denofa with a good time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we talked about the YOLO. He definitely goes for it. So here we go. Chelsea Denofa, BC Racing, Nitto Tire, Ford Performance Mustang RTR. Ready to rock, ready to rowdy. Chelsea Denofa. Looks like he initiates. No, just does not start out as high. Does work it up. You can see him massaging it, getting it on up. Oh, wow, way off there, Ryan. So it looks like the car is really gripping up. This is on Chelsea Denofa, bringing on around. And here we go, bringing it. So Chelsea Denofa, looks like the car grips up. What's your take there, Ryan? Taking a look at that again.
Yeah, I mean, it's either that or this is, you know, kind of part of
strategy.
What we've seen in his strategy. Yeah, no, I mean, it's a little bit of a coin flip, the strategy that he's playing, but it has worked for him. So, you know, the team makes it takes a very calculated approach. So if they are going, I mean, because he doesn't miss stuff like that.
No, that's pretty remedial.
So, you know, he may be trying to go for a mid-pack top 32 slot, and, you know, this is probably going to be something like that, probably like an 85 or something along those lines. But yeah, I mean, so we kind of now we're setting the table, right? We're starting to see how things are unpacking.
Hey, some people are playing checkers, some people are playing chess. You know what I mean?
Making it clear.
Yeah, I mean, that strategy. I mean, that's part of the game.
Absolutely.
Right? Checkmate.
Yeah, I'm digging it.
I think it's interesting, you know, and the look, you're seeing smiles over here, so it's not like. So that's indicating, yeah, Milstein, I see you, baby.
We'll see what Vaughn does.
Milstein's down there listening to us. Yeah, we can see you. So again, the smiles are really indicating that they're, you know, they're playing this. 69,
wow.
Nice.
So the line.
Nice, Chelsea Denofa with a 69.
So the line judge really banged him hard.
Yeah, that's Brian Eggert. So if you want to make some more claims, that's a lucky number 13. And rightfully so. I mean, he was way off of that front inside clip. Outside clip 3, he took the tightest line possible. All right, here we go. Third in points right now, Matt Field piloting that Falken tire drift cave. You see him get hyped there. If you haven't seen his brand new pink Momo race suit he's wearing for this event only in breast cancer awareness, check out his Instagram. Really cool boots and Momo race suit. So check it out. He's actually auctioning off this one-of-one race suit brought to him by Momo. Here we go. This is Matt Field going for it. Third in points. He is hungry. 20 points behind our leader. The beast in the bay. Send it. Matt Field goes ahead, initiates into that first outside zone. That front left locking up, massaging it in. You can see just a little bit of wavering there. Definitely gets tight, snug as a bug in a rug. Now transitioning past that first foot. Big angle there from Matt Field. Now coming into that second outside zone, locking up that front left wheel. Big angle from him. Now coming into that final inside clip, and then that final outside zone. Oh no. A massive mistake there by Matt Field.
We've got our first gentleman.
And there we go. He is going into the less than grade 8. And now his team, the work begins. You wonder what happened.
You just kind of thinking back while we have a moment here to consider what happened to Matt's vehicle there after he got the incomplete. You think a 69 is going to make it into the top 32?
Yeah, I do. I mean, we have yes.
How many
We have 33 drivers.
Okay.
We have 33 drivers.
And we haven't spoken about this, but there's a question mark with at least one driver from practice, right? We saw Tuerck have a little bit of an issue.
I think he's back. I saw him rip through.
Okay.
And I got a text from his spotter Biddies telling me that. Okay, we'll see.
So if he doesn't make this first run, he'll definitely go to the bottom 8. But it sounds like, at least from what you guys were saying, that there's enough confidence that he's going to get a run in. Let's take a look at what happens with Matt Field here. Up until this point, Jared, he had a couple little flubs, but it was a really nice run, well put together. And then right here, something gives out on the car, shuts it down. Was not able to finish that last half of the turn, and so it's going to be incomplete on the first run. And he'll have to go back and kind of diagnose what transpired there. And it does put some pressure on him, going to the bottom 8. But as you said, with the car count the way that it is, it seems like the probability is.
Well, with Matt not finishing, that betters a 69 of getting in.
For sure.
So if somebody else does an incomplete,
Yeah.
Chelsea's in.
Yep.
And he'll be exactly where he wants to be, maybe 32nd.
Interesting.
Right?
Wow.
But then he'd go against #1 qualifier.
Yeah, which could be Aasbo.
Yeah. Wow, that engine sounds absolutely fired up, but axles or trans or what happened? Because it obviously has power. So something with the drivetrain potentially. I mean, pure speculation at this point. So as Matt Field being pushed out of the way here, you see his team jumping in, they're going to back that thing in. So unfortunately, Matt Field does have an incomplete, so he will be going to the not so great 8. How much can be done? Fortunately, he's, the good thing for Matt Field and his team, he's so early on in the pack, right? So third in points. So he's got a lot of time here in order to work on the car and remedy, find the gremlin, see what's going on, and smash that thing out like a bad habit.
It's a good point. There's definitely ample time. It doesn't make it any less dramatic.
Right.
I mean, for us, watching from the sidelines, not down there with the team who wants to get success out of every run, this is a storyline that has appeared within the first 5 minutes of qualifying, and it's certainly a big one.
Odi Bakchis, the first round winner, and then the most recent winner. So kick things off in Atlanta with that win. Had some ups and downs, and then shows up in Long Beach, putting it together. A very emotional win for him. And Odi Bakchis gets the victory there on the streets of Long Beach. And there we go. We are getting ready for Odi Bakchis, the Falken tires, field suspension, Vortex supercharged LS S15. All right, so it looks like re-scrub here, just got iced a little bit. Just keeping some heat in those tires. The tow truck getting back into place, and Odi will begin his qualifying run. So it seems that there was just an error there in the score. It will be a 70. That's a 7-0 for Chelsea Denofa. Chelsea Denofa with a 7-0. It's a 70. As Odi Bakchis, the Falken tires, field suspension S15. Odi Bakchis initiates behind the bend. Look at that, aggressive. His rates and angle a little slower, but then now put some more into it. Put some more attitude, some more style. Flying with the course. Now coming to that second outside zone. Doesn't get all the way out there. Just nice to do it wide. Barely nudging that inside clip. And working it right into that final outside zone. Like you said, Ryan, a lot of the drivers very comfortable with that final outside zone.
Yeah, and Odi, you know, such a consummate competitor, has that stick-to-itiveness and the ability to kind of focus on what needs to happen in any part of the competition. He's really been working on the qualifying program, trying to get up there, get himself in a good position overall, but we know that how deadly he can be as a chase driver. As we take a look at his run here, a couple little minor adjustments that he could make. You can see he got into outside zone 2, a little bit on the inside, didn't get fully up against the wall. So far from the first few drivers, Fredric Aasbo has kind of set the standard there. It's 95. It's probably going to come down lower than that, but overall a pretty good run. You see he's on that, just between that second and third hash mark on that first outside zone, and excuse me, that first inside flip. And it's just so apparent where the drivers are on the course with these walls. You really get a great perspective on how they're entering, especially in this last section here. You mentioned it, it's worth mentioning again. Most of the drivers, I think, feel like that's an easier part of the course to navigate, which for me, I think will be really interesting to see how tandem works there.
That's going to be exciting. That's going to be really exciting. Look at that. Ryan, you called it 92. So takedown from that 95 of Fredric Aasbo. Odi Bakchis with the 92. All right, so again, we talked about the announcements earlier this week, talking about drivers stepping away from Formula Drift. So I caught up with Vaughn Gittin Jr. earlier to talk about him and his new ventures, or what's going on in his life.
For those of you that may not have heard, I made a huge announcement this week, and that announcement is that I will be stepping back from Formula Drift competition for a little while. This is not a retirement. It is taking a break from competition so that I can focus on some of the amazing opportunities that I have going on. You know, for me, the last years, I don't even know for how long, I've been doing 35 to 40 events a year and getting to the point where I really just don't even have time to think, don't have any time for the family. And, you know, I have some other passion projects that I really want to see through and need my attention. You know, a lot of great projects on the electrification front with Ford. Really am missing some of these enthusiast events that I really want to do and just kind of be with the people having fun. You know, I've really been enjoying racing Broncos off-road, and so gonna, you know, spend a little bit of time in some of my other passions and continuing to build my business. You know, RTR Vehicles and Fun Haver are really doing well, and I just have a lot of opportunities, and I need to get a little bit more focus back. And for me, you know, it was a very tough decision. You know, drifting has been a huge part of my life, for my passion for 20 years, and always will be. But it's something I feel like I can take a break, assess some things, and jump back into when I'm ready. And so my goal with that would be to come back in a few years with something very special and pick up where we left off. But until then, Chelsea and the RTR team are going to be here ripping and doing what we do. We're going to have some more announcements around the team here coming soon. And with that, I just want to say, with big dreams come big decisions. And for me, this is one of those biggest decisions I've ever had to make in my career. And I'm very grateful for the support. And I really just want to thank all of you, over the last almost 20 years for your support, the whole Formula Drift staff for making this possible, all the competitors and drivers and teams for making this always mean something and always make the effort worth it. And with that, I want to say thank you. I am greatly, greatly appreciative of all of you. This is not a goodbye. It's I'll see you later, and I'm looking forward to it. Woo!
There it is. Yeah, make some noise for him. Vaughn Gittin Jr., an absolute legend, two-time champion, defending champion. Ryan, your thoughts?
I mean, between him and Dai, these are probably going to be the last qualifying runs we're going to see from them in the foreseeable future. More of a question mark for Vaughn than it is for Dai. So every moment that we get to see these guys out on track is a joy and a pleasure. And, really the contribution to the sport that both of them have made is really immeasurable. It just is. And when you think about, if we're talking about Vaughn in particular here, we think about drifting, there is a synonymous relationship with drifting to Vaughn, not just in the United States, but globally. Yeah. And for Daijiro Yoshihara, coming from where he started to where he's gone, and the impact that he's made here in the States, but also how well recognized he is in Japan for his efforts here is just unbelievable.
Yeah, and it's funny, like Vaughn Gittin Jr., when he kind of started doing stuff with Ford, he took the Mustang to Japan. Yoshihara, the Japanese, came over to America.
Yes, yeah.
We saw Yoshihara behind the wheel of the GTO, his S13, his Lexus IS, and here he is behind the wheel of the Subaru BRZ.
And they've always been really, really awesome competitors together.
Yeah.
They've had some good rivalry.
Sopa on a rope getting fully torqued and sending out the windmill for the final time. Vaughn Gittin Jr. qualifying in that Monster Energy Nitto tire, Ford Performance Mustang RTR Spec 5D. The sparks are flying. Now past that inside clip, looks like he might be taking a little bit of approach. That Chelsea Denofa is again talking about the checkers in the chest. Not sticking it to the wall, middle of the road, really locking it up, but burning it up. Still really lighting up those Nitto tires. This is strategy. This is absolute strategy, Ryan, for the RTR team. Let's take a look at it again here, Ryan.
Well, let's see who wins the battle of the low scores here. We got a 70 for Chelsea Denofa. Vaughn, pretty similar in the approach here, mid-line, a little bit of wavering with that front end coming into this inside clip, nowhere to be found. He was about, 6 to 8 feet off of the last hash mark. A little bit of a stall there right past the decel zone, which will give you guys all of the telemetry data on tomorrow, where exactly those sit, and then obviously taking this tighter line here. So there will be a good chunk knocked off, especially for line. We saw the line judge against Chelsea Denofa really give him a tough time there, and we'll see how this all comes together. But we've got quite a few storylines developing in parallel here. We've got the kind of crushing mechanical failure of Matt Field, where he is open-ended question mark. We've got what appears to be hopefully a strong strategy for positioning between the two RTR guys, and we've got Fredric Aasbo sitting pretty with a 95 in first place. So there's multiple strands of stories being developed here in just the first 4 or 5 drivers.
Absolutely, as we can see him finishing out the course. The Type S lights are on underneath the car and on the rails. And there is the RTR team ready to rock and ready to rowdy. The Drift Alliance crest out back of that Ford Mustang always ran on every one of Vaughn Gittin Jr.'s vehicles from 2004 to 2021. And there's a 56. So again, seems that ideal scenario for Vaughn Gittin Jr. would be that, again, somebody else gets an incomplete, and he gets potentially one of the lowest qualifying. So That's how this car looked earlier. Ryan Tuerck hitting hard into the wall, rotated and hit the driver's side, hit that left side into the wall. That's outside zone 2. And I got a text from, you know, his spotter, his main guy, Biddies, and he says, how long do we have? And as soon as he texts me, I saw the car go ahead and rip out there. But tell you what, Ryan Tuerck never wants to back down after a big hit. We saw that in Long Beach, you know, just a few years ago, where, you know, he hit the wall really hard, and then went on, had to park that car, total the car, pulled another kind of demo car, prepped it for competition, and won in New Jersey that year. So sometimes you just got to get the crash out of the way and then continue on.
Yeah, I think there's certainly a field of thought that when you have a really, really fundamentally devastating crash like we've seen Tuerck have, that you become gun shy afterwards, and that's not what we've seen from him. We've seen him not shy away from the kind of driving that you need to get those, you know, 95 plus scores. But just, I mean, take a look at that thing. I mean, it was not looking great, and you know, he still has some work to do. There's obviously a high risk involved here, because this will be the first time that he's been out on the course since that accident. And it does look like, Jared, that they are going to skip that first run. So now we've got 2 of the top
Vaughn and
6 drivers in the bottom 8. Matt Field and now Ryan Tuerck.
So Ryan Tuerck is officially not taking his first run. He will have to go to the not so great 8 and get one of those final spots. So he will not qualify high. He will be in the 20s, no higher than the 20s for Ryan Tuerck. So they're pushing that thing back. And unfortunate turn of events there for Ryan Tuerck.
Was there anything, I heard somebody say something, was there anything that came out of this, or the reason why?
They just said there's something wrong with it. So just checking out, inspecting. All right. While we are waiting for our next driver, let's learn more about Vaughn Gittin Jr. in our FD profile.
What's up? I'm Vaughn Gittin Jr., driver of the Monster Energy Nitto Tire Ford Mustang RTR. I've been drifting for going on 20 years now. I do it because I love it. It is extremely challenging, extremely fun, and the only sport where you can show your style and personality from behind the wheel of badass cars. So coming off winning the championship in 2020, my competitive approach for 2021 is to be consistent and a hard charger. My biggest rival in Formula Drift, I've got 3 of them. Fredric, Aasbo, without a doubt. My good friend Chris Forsberg, who we have been battling it toe-to-toe the last few years, especially last year. And Chelsea, my teammate, has grown into a rival. We go back and forth. In fact, I think I might have 1 win over him in all of our battles. But, you know, those are the 3 guys that, you know, when I line up against them, I'm doing everything I can to win. My favorite thing about Formula Drift is that it's ever-changing and progressing. You know, I can't tell you anything I've been doing for 18 years in my life consistently. It just makes you dig so deep inside to bring out the best in yourself. And for me, that's definitely what I love most. My expectations for 2021 is to show up at every single round, have a ton of fun, be a top competitor all the way to the end, and wrap up another championship.
A lot of sentiments there. Vaughn Gittin Jr. The hood is popped there for Ryan Tuerck. See what's going on with that vehicle. He does have some time to work on the vehicle. And we can see the cars lined up. You can see Yoshihara down there, that turn 14 distribution Falken tire BRZ. Simon Olsen from Norway. Kazuya Taguchi. See Michael Essa, Travis Reeder. See Kyle Mohan, Dean Carnage Kearney, Brandon Sorensen. And now Dylan Hughes. Dylan Hughes on the start line with his 2J powered Royal Purple O'Reilly Auto Parts GT Radial BMW. Dylan the Dozer Hughes. Be sure to go by his pit. He's got his Permatex flat out 200 the bike down there, and definitely check that thing out. As Dylan Hughes going for it. Royal Purple BMW. Got on the podium earlier this year at his home track at Evergreen Speedway. Good angle for him, tapping the brake. Looks like he's dragging some bumper. A little bit of an attitude of the vehicle kind of straight down, but not enough. Just kind of giving a little hello, how you doing? Really deep in that second outside zone, making the banners go ham. Now past that second inside clip, the dozer pushing it around to that final outside zone line. Look how he just massaged that thing in like a masseuse. Well done by Dylan Hughes.
Well, there's no disputing this has been a breakout season for Dylan Hughes in more ways than one. Those back-to-back podiums that kind of solidified, I think, him as one of the top up-and-coming young drivers in the sport, certainly one to watch for in the future. And you can see here just kind of the ease of approach, but still having that aggressive nature in his driving. Couple little mistakes, little tiny adjustments on the bank, but he's fully committed up there and really does a pretty good job. You can see that back end moving a little bit, maybe could have stayed in that zone a little bit longer, but overall this is going to be, I think, a pretty well scored run. Dips a little part of the left rear tire on that course marker area on the painted line, but I think the judges do want to see this from the drone. Here's the drone. Let's see how he gets in. He enters. He could have been a little bit higher to enter. Would have been right up against the wall. You see that just a couple of those little movements right there, Jared. You notice that, and a lot of guys will be doing this. There'll be a lot of left foot braking up there to control the vehicle. And here on this second outside zone, he's kind of mid-high, just keeping that front part of the vehicle just down a little bit past that white painted line. But overall, I think this will put him in a good position. He's clearly going to make it in the top 32, and good solid start for him.
Yeah, well done by Dylan Hughes, and you said it, a breakout year for him, getting that car to work on its sophomore season, and just overall, you could see just his confidence has really gone up. You know, just the build overall. You know, he's really hands-on his car. So you can see it, Royal Purple, the official oil of Formula Drift. 88 and 88 for Dylan Hughes. Well done by the dozer, Dylan Hughes. That will solidify him into the top 32. Next up, good homie of his. These gentlemen just they just went to a NORA race. They did UTV together, went and raced off-road in a side-by-side, which is pretty cool. They're all right, Chris Forsberg partying right now, but don't forget the Formula Drift House of Drift after party, October 24th. That's this Sunday. Gates open at 10. Autograph session 11. Opening ceremonies 11:45. Got burnout box demos. You got drift demos. So going on here. $30 tickets. Don't forget October 24th, this Sunday, here at the House of Drift. Chris Forsberg on the line. The NOS Energy Drink. Nissan 370Z on GT radial tires. He says his car is really gripped up, so let's see how he handles it. And away they go. Initiating, turning on the smoke machine. You can see how that thing drops down. It does have that side-by, brings it on up. And now transitions past that front clip. Hits his mark down into the second outside zone. Nice job with that VR powered. He's really hanging it out. Almost too much there, Ryan. About the second hash mark. Now that final outside zone. So Chris Forsberg doing a really good job on those outside zones. You know, 2 and 3. But I tell you, I think leaves a little to be desired on that first outside zone.
Yeah, coming to the party just a little bit late here on this first outside zone. Dips down. It's a nice little flick into that first outside zone, but you can see he doesn't push up high until this point here. So about half the zone, he was down lower than he should be. Coming into the inside clip, does do well there, keeps the momentum up, gets back on throttle right at the beginning of the zone, and much better execution there, but pushes a little bit too wide coming off that zone to that third hash mark. Final outside zone, gets in right in the middle, and like a lot of the drivers, really well controlled through that area, finishing up strong.
All right, Chris Forsberg makes his way back to the hot pit area, all the way there towards the end. And we're waiting for Chris Forsberg's score. Up next will be Kazuya Taguchi, who is, I mean, look at this. Top, currently 8, and there's an 86 for Chris Forsberg. A great score for him. I mean, Kazuya Taguchi, what a great progression for him. I think he's, talk about just a kind of a breakout season, but he makes it difficult on himself, changing cars so much. I hope he stays in this car because it's been working out for him in the 22 season.
Yeah, I mean, the historical records are littered with drivers that have tremendous talent but didn't have the ability or couldn't really put together a reliable car for them to compete in. And we never really got to see them at their full force. Some of these drivers that have come over from FD Japan have kind of dealt with issues like that. Kazuya Taguchi has really stuck with it, put a lot of effort into moving his program over here, and now it is starting to pay off dividends because he's finding himself in a top 10 position, pretty consistent returns on his results. I mean, all the way from the beginning of the season, we're not really seeing those throwaway scores. Last event in Long Beach was the only one that you could say was kind of a throwaway. He only added 35 points, but he's still sitting in the top 10, and no matter where he finishes this year, it's going to be a winner of a year.
Absolutely. Here we go. The Up Garage ISR GT Radial 86. Now coming into that first outside zone, and there, just like that, he gets to the wall, sticks it to the wall. You can see the reflection of the taillights up on the big bank now. Hammering down, seeing the flames firing off. Wow. And get into that second outside zone. Past the front clip, right there in that first hash mark. Now transitioning into that final outside zone. Oh, Kazuya! Wow. Gesundheit. Wow, that was definitely an aggressive line right there, man. Wow.
So we definitely got a little taste there
Sneeze in the fire, man.
You know, we've been watching this all year. We're seeing, you know, a lot of the new fans kind of learning about these drivers for the first time and what they bring to the table. This is a pretty good indication of what we've seen. The consistency, pretty aggressive approach, executed the big bank, not flawlessly, a couple little mistakes, but really well. And then on this transition in outside zone 2, could have got back on throttle a little bit more aggressively there and kind of lit up the tires a little bit more to kind of give that impact. But he had good flow through there, stayed pretty deep into the zone. And this part right here was awesome. He was into the wall early, stayed super close to it, pushed hard through the finish line, and really kept that the front part of the vehicle nice and locked. Not a lot of twitchiness and not a lot of moving around.
Yeah, really like that from Kazuya Taguchi. As man, did you see that blue moon the other night? That was lit. It was nuts. It was like I don't know. It was a couple nights ago, but absolutely blazing blue moon, full moon. I believe we're sold out for tomorrow's show, right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow's event is sold out. Look at that, a 91. Well done, Kazuya Taguchi. Taguchi in that Up Garage ISR 86. Taguchi delivering. Up next, Michael Essa, another former champ, that FCP Euro, Liqui-Moly GT Radial BMW M3. Warming up his tires.
So the story with Michael Essa has really been one about continuing to do better every single round. Every single round he has stayed consistent or done better. He's never regressed. And so he had one of his best finishes last round in Long Beach. He's our 10th place driver right now, trying to push to stay in that top 10. And he is performing, as I think, at moments, just as well as we've seen him perform like his championship year. And when he's on, he is a very dangerous driver.
One of the quickest drivers through the course, as far as, you know, just completing it from its start to finish. Here we go, Michael Essa at the wheel. Let's see a little bit more angle there, but then he just digs it in. We're talking about that back wall. Slams it down into that first front flip. See him working the car, walking it back into the second outside zone. Big angle past that front flip. Wow. And now bringing it on home. BMWs of Dylan Hughes, who runs the 2J. We see the BMW of Travis Reeder. He runs a LS. Michael Essa is true to the manufacturer matching the engine as opposed to doing the full-on swap.
Yeah, let's get a second look at it here from the drone. A little bit of a stepped initiation. It wasn't one of those right to angles that went from the kind of preparation, the lead up, right to lock. He had a little bit of a hiccup there, but overall he kind of gets back in the fight here, stays pretty consistent. On this inside though, you can see on the second outside zone, he gets into it right like kind of mid-line and has to push back a little bit. So we're seeing some areas where there's gonna be a couple little deductions, but overall, good performance for him. Clearly a top 32 run, and it's just about positioning now.
Yep. Loving the Type S lights underneath the vehicle on all the vehicles. They actually run them and light up the night. We continue on. Waiting for Michael Essa's score. In the burnout box will be Travis Reeder. Speaking of the BMW, a 91. 91 for Michael Essa. So back-to-back 91s. We're seeing these high scores, Ryan. But I am getting word that unfortunately the Drift Force fellas of Eve Meyer and Josh Reynolds are out. So, wow. Yeah, that's very unfortunate. So we had, you know, the driver's list says 33, but quickly, and here's a run. #1 qualifier will get an automatic buy run because we have 2 drivers out. That goes from 33 to 31 drivers. So that's how quickly that #1 qualifying spot could be a major benefit.
So if we were doing the hypothetical, you have maybe Aasbo and Denofa 1 and 32. Now mathematically that can't happen.
Right. Yes, there you go. Yeah, the lowest that he can get would be 31. Yeah. Yeah. All right, here we go. Travis Reeder, that Link Engine Management BMW from the Pacific Northwest. Gotta love Travis Reeder. The Grim Reeder, dude, words per minute. He's killing books. It's all about the WPM, not the RPM. He's kind of wavering right here. The Red Wave Reeder. Past that inside clip, now coming into the second outside zone. Car looking a bit unsettled on the first outside zone. Final sweet spot on the second. And now approaching that final. Really yanking that handbrake. Right, again, talking about it in the opener. The marriage of man and machine. It just, right now, I don't know if Reeder's kind of firing all cylinders, metaphorically.
Well, interestingly, if you look at the stats, Michael Essa and Travis Reeder are basically almost exactly the inverse. Michael Essa started off a little bit weaker and gained momentum. Travis Reeder has been pretty consistent all year long, equaling many of the scores that Michael Essa had, but had his first event where he fell off in Long Beach. And so we don't want to see him carry that momentum over here to Irwindale. We want to take advantage of all the opportunities that are given to him here, especially because just like Dylan Hughes, he's one of these up-and-coming drivers, this new breed that has a tremendous amount of talent, and you expect him to do great things in the sport. As we take a look one more time at his first qualifying run, hopefully for him it's his one and only, coming into this last outside zone, able to finish off this run minus a couple little mistakes with a pretty solid run overall. It's not going to be your #1 qualifier, but getting the job done.
All right, down there we can see Reeder, 85. That's an 85 for Travis Reeder. And finds himself in 7th position currently. Let's see if he holds on to it. And if you haven't already found out about it, the exclusive sale ends Monday, so act now. Go to typesauto.com/FD. Well, you're going to save 25%. Premium customization accessories and car electronics, ranging from LED lighting kits to portable jump starters to dash cams. Again, exclusive sale for Formula J fans. So take a look at the Type S products. Go to typesauto.com/FD. Limited time only. It ends October 24th at 11:59. So, again, go ahead and act now. So there you go. Thank you to Type S. This is the Type S title fight. The Oracle Lighting Dodge Viper of Dean Carnage Kearney. just announcing a new giveaway car. He says like 10 times the points for this S chassis he just built. So Dean Kearney, check it out. Go to Carnage, K-A-R-N-A-G-E. Here we go. Dean Kearney, Exxon Tires, the Oracle Lighting Dodge Viper. Really aggressive with that initiation. Comes down the bank a little bit. He's gonna bite it off. Come on now. There we go. Dean Carnage works his way back up the bank, transitioning past the inside clip. Gets in that second outside zone. Just needs to put a score on the board. Just definitely won't be up there in the 90s. Kind of missing some of those outside zones a little bit. Just ride that line. There you go, Ryan.
Yeah, the critical moment in that run was something that could have led to a really bad wreck, but the kind of the maturity of Dean Kearney was able to correct for that quickly. It is going to lead to, you know, some deductions overall, but you see here how his car started pointing towards the wall, and then as he corrected it, started moving up towards the wall. If he was carrying a little bit more momentum there, he may have got that back bumper in the wall, and we've seen already this weekend what can happen there. But he is missing, you know, a lot of the surface area of the zones on the second outside zone, and a little bit, a big chunk of the first outside zone as well. He's also on the inside on the last one, so I think the line score is going to be fairly low here, and we'll see how it comes in. The line judge has been pretty brutal tonight, making it real clear.
Wow.
If you don't run the right line.
Standing right here. No, Brian, just back off. Just Brian, stop. Brian, don't hurt Ryan. Dropping the hammer. I mean, that's why I said when we started at the gate with Aasbo, like that was an indicator of, oh, okay, game, respect, game. Let's go. Film those up. Truth be told, it's fine. 74 for Dean Kearney. To 74 for the Irish driver from Waterford, Ireland. Next up, Jeff Jones, right in the SFV, San Fernando Valley. Jeff Jones Racing, GT Radial, Nissan 370Z, the Edelbrock Supercharged. Let's see what Jeff Jones has got. I know he likes to dance in his opening ceremonies and his driver intro. Oh, he's gonna dance out here on the track. See what you got there, Jeff Jones. Initiates. Works his way up top, similar line to Dean Kearney. Now transitions past that first clip into the second outside zone. Could definitely get deeper there. Some points up the grab. And now into that final outside zone. What do you got, Jeff? A little bit deeper than Dean, and then throws it all the way to the wall in the latter portion of that outside zone. Decent run by Jeff, but I know he's got more in him, but just with the scenario, he'll be in a head-to-head battle.
Trying to back up that top 10 finish that he had last year in the doubleheader COVID year, sitting in 13th place right now, just a few points behind getting into the top 10. Kind of moved up the big bank progressively. It was linear, so it wasn't like chopping up the course, which we know that the judges don't like that. But on this second outside zone, kind of something similar. Middle starts to move a little bit deeper, but by the time he gets to kind of a good place in the zone, he's got to leave and start heading to this final one. Same kind of approach here, yeah. A little bit starts shallow and moves deeper. Let's take a look at this inside clip. Skirting through that section of the course. I think, you know, this is going to be probably 80s, something like that. So we'll see how the judges play this through for Jeff Jones, but he will certainly be making it in, and we'll find out shortly what position he's going to be in.
All right, some are claiming mid-80s right now. We'll see if he's right. An 81. So maybe if he filled all of that outside zone 3 and not just tapped the latter portion of it, might have gotten that 86. You can see a 23 out of 30 line, 25. 33. So Jeff Jones with an 81. Moving on to our next driver, more teal and blue for your Giants. JTP, Justin Pawlak, piloting that Falken tires. Roush Performance, Ford Mustang. Justin Pawlak pulling to the start line. It's crazy, here we are, man, October, mid-October. The end of another season here for the Formula Drift Championship. SEMA just a couple weeks away.
You going?
What's that, SEMA?
Yeah.
I'll be at the SEMA show, baby. We'll be out there.
Doing Ignited?
I'll be doing my Ford stuff. Here we go. JTP, Justin Pawlak initiates. Justin Pawlak definitely could be a little higher. I like the aggressive line, or not the aggressive line, I like the aggressive drive, but the line, whoa! Justin snaps into it. Wow, whoa, backs it in, look at how much angle. Sometimes he is just an absolute magician. The angle thing, I mean, look at that. Right?
This is a driver that is capable of 100-point runs. This is a driver
And he has gotten one.
That's capable of backward entries that don't slow down the momentum to the point to where it becomes unchaseable. And there were aspects of this run that had some of those elements, except for this part right here. The line score is going to be hit pretty bad on that first outside zone because there's two zones that make up that big bank. That angle coming through inside clip 1 was insane, but the thing that I thought was amazing about it was the momentum held up. And then he gets massive angle in outside zone 2. 3, he gets in a little bit shallow and kind of stays mid-line. So you saw like attributes of greatness, what he's capable of in certain sections of his course. He's not going to be able to get it back, and he's going to probably still get a pretty okay score, but you certainly see very clearly where some points were left on the table.
Yeah, that was, you bring up all those great points, Ryan. Absolutely. There's you know, the backwards entries that just, you flick it in, you do a backy, as they say, but then there's those that just have that fluidity and the momentum, and that's what Justin Pawlak really tries to do. Just kind of, you know, has his own style. You know, grew up ripping around FC RX-7s, and then has progressed and has been working with Ford and Roush for a while. And 89.
Yeah, see, look at that. He got only 3 points deducted on style, which makes sense. The angle was insane, but the line just hurt him. Now, if you added, say,
5, one of those sectors.
Say, give him 6 points back on line, get it up to 29.
Yep.
He's your #1 qualifier.
Yep, and that's what he's capable of, exactly to your point, Ryan. All right, there is how we are sitting. Aasbo leads the pack. Bakchis, Essa, Taguchi, Pawlak, Hughes, Forsberg, Reeder, Jones, Kearney. And when we come back, we'll continue here with our qualifying here at the House of Drift.
Your body is a machine with 800 horses coursing through its veins. Ignite it. Synergy, human horsepower.
I'm Dylan Hughes, Formula Drift Pro driver, and today we're going to talk about Royal Purple HPS and what actually goes into it. There's a lot of talk about additives, and Royal Purple has its proprietary Centerlick technology. It is fortified with a high level of zinc phosphorus anti-wear additive for exceptional protection against heat and wear. Its high film strength improves sealing between the piston ring and cylinder wall for maximum horsepower and torque. Royal Purple HPS, race car technology for the street.
Pedal Commander is the world's most advanced throttle response controller. It's a plug-and-play unit that unleashes the power of your vehicle. Has 36 total settings, is easy to install, and makes the driving experience so much more fun.
Picks up RPMs way better, kind of like a race car, it responds.
Order now and use code FD2021 for $30 off your purchase.
Formula Drift is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Royal Purple, the official engine oil of Formula Drift, the synthetic expert. NOS, the official energy drink of Formula Drift. NOS High Performance Energy. How hard will you drive? There it is. Look at that track. So many tires been burnt, so many memories, so many championships. 17 in total until tomorrow night. One more will be added to the Hollowed Hall of Fame. That is the Formula Drift Championship. Who is it going to be? 20 points separate first through third, 43 points separate fourth through first, and that's Odi Bakchis. So as, again, our next driver was to be Yves Meyer. Unfortunately, Yves Meyer in the Drift Force Eurofighter from Switzerland, not able to run. He is a scratch for this event. It's been a great year for Yves Meyer. Love to see his progression. 15th in the championship right now, but obviously that will be knocked down considerably. Another driver that got into a tussle with the wall, Alec Robbins, yesterday, but he says he's good, he's ready to go, and here he is. He is on the start line. The Facetto Nissan 350Z. Ryan, we talked about him in St. Louis. Talk about a driver that just showed up massively in STL.
Yeah, unbelievable performance in qualifying. Became your #1 qualifier for one of the most insane runs we've seen all year.
Let's see if he can do it again. Again, he's got to knock out that 95. And no, it will not happen. I was like, holy cow, he has thrown some serious angle here. It was that front right corner. You can see that bumper there, but unfortunately, so that will be a incomplete for Alec Robbins and that Facetto Nissan 350Z. Our homeboy from Becker, Minnesota. Let's look at it again. What went wrong, Ryan?
So tough break here. Just gets a little overextended coming up to the middle part of the wall. Looks like there may have been something akin to a save there as well. Angling up to get out of a sticky situation, trying to save the car. Yeah, it looks like he may have thought he was going to be going into the wall. If that was the case, it's a really veteran move there. But nonetheless, it still is an incomplete. He'll be going to the bottom 8, which is now starting to get filled up with quite a few competitors, and we will be moving right along here.
Absolutely. Next up, Daijiro Yoshihara. Again, the announcement earlier this week, he put together a video announcing his retirement, stepping away from Formula Drift competition, but many other accolades, including Pikes Peak, road racing, a father, a husband, and just all around a good dude.
Yeah, he is such a great dude. You know, a lot of the inside baseball stories that a lot of us know, you know, really are just a representation of, I think, what a lot of people think about Dai. You know, everybody thinks he's a nice guy, a good guy. He really is. He really, really is.
Consistent.
I mean, he comes to our office sometimes in surprise fashion and says, "Hey guys, let's go to lunch." You know,
he says, "Bro,
yeah.
You don't even call me bro.
And
you gotta call me."
We don't talk about anything business oriented.
No.
It's just, you know, let's go get some noodles, let's go get some ramen, whatever. Have a good time.
And I mean, remember our international trips?
Yeah.
Remember we brought him to Southeast Asia multiple times. We always had a blast, and obviously over to Japan. He's a great dude. So we're gonna miss seeing his face, but again, it's not a goodbye. To see you later. Here we go. Turn 14 distribution. Falken tires. Subaru BRZ throws it into that first outside zone. This turbocharged LS under the hood, winding it up past that first front clip. Our final qualifying run for the former champ, 2011 FD champion, Daijiro Yoshihara. Slide or Daijiro Yoshihara. Coming into that final outside zone for his final qualifying run. Everybody make some noise for Daijiro Yoshihara.
So
that's a beautiful heavy metal swan song by this Japanese legend.
It's a good way to close things out. Daijiro Yoshihara, known historically to be a very smooth and consistent driver, and even with the variety of vehicles that he's tried over the years, he has remained consistent with those attributes. Starts pretty high on the bank, stays mostly in the zone. Good little transition there from inside clip 1. Could have been a little bit deeper as he started outside zone 2, and maybe a little bit more aggressive on the throttle. You can see there's a little bit of feathering there, but did keep good forward momentum. Just drops a tire right there on the outside of the course marker, but finishes strong through that final outside zone. It's still going to be a pretty well-scored run overall, and a great way for this awesome gentleman to finish off his qualifying history with us.
Pacific Rim, he had the S13, you know, back in the day. A GTO with the Reese Millen Racing Camp, Falken tires and Discount Tire. He had an IS, and coincidentally, it was an S13 that took him to his championship. And then he jumps behind the wheel of this BRZ for quite some time, and there it is. An 89 for Daijiro Yoshihara puts him into 6th position. So, and I think there were a few years he wasn't on Falken, but a majority of his Formula Drift seasons have been on Falken tire, the teal and blue. Again, when he had kind of different manufacturers, I know early on as maybe Yokohama, and I think he was on Bridgestone, but Nitto tires for some time. But just a, you know, absolute legend.
Yeah, consistent force and face since day one. And, you know, just contextually speaking, Vaughn and Dai plus Chris and Gushi, who will be the 2 guys remaining, are the last 4 drivers to have been here since the beginning.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is Amanda Sorensen's car that is doing double duty, both in Pro Spec and in Pro.
You are not wrong.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure. And I talked to Amanda. She was really happy. So this is Brandon Sorensen piloting the vehicle of Amanda Sorensen out here in the mix. So Brandon Sorensen, wondering what's going on with his vehicle. Right now, this vehicle looks like it's got some wavering there for Brandon. Needs to get more settled as he rips past that front inside clip and now brings it into, ooh, and he parks it. Yeah, did not look solid from the onset, unfortunately. And, you know, again, with Amanda Sorensen, again, saw her in the autograph signing, and she says, hey, what'd you think of that run? I said, it was really good. So she was pumped. I think she got 4th overall, I think it was, finally.
She did great. Yeah, she did really, really well. And, you know, a storyline that we're seeing here as we take a look at some of the season totals from Brandon Sorensen. He's got himself in 18th place right now, but he is a rookie. So he is leading the Rookie of the Year campaign on results, but he actually has the same number of points as Simon Olsen. And just behind him is Jonathan Hurst. So we've got a really tight Rookie of the Year race developing in the middle of the pack here between those 3 drivers. And so the positioning in the bracket will be super important to figure out who's going to get the Rookie of the Year crown in 21.
And there is Brandon Sorensen. And of course, it will be an incomplete. Tomorrow, join the halftime for Team Falken autograph session. Odi Bakchis, the number 13 JTP, and just as we talked about, Daijiro Yoshihara and Matt Field with his bright pink cancer awareness Momo race suit. So join the Falken Tire boys at the halftime break. Those 4 drivers will be there. So go wrap out with them. Thank you to Falken Tires for their years of support. And thank you to our drivers, Odi, Justin, Dai, and Field. All right, looks like Brandon will need a toe off. That is not a good sign for him. One, that he is going to and relegated to the not so great 8, and then also Amanda Sorensen and this vehicle is being put through the paces. We'll have to do some fact finding on what's going on. And look at that. There's Gushi and Yoshihara. Which one's which? Is that Gushi? No, that's Gushi. Yeah, it's Gushi on the left, Yoshihara on the right. Right? I'm joking. People always get them confused legitimately. Well, let's hear some more about Daijiro Yoshihara.
My name is Yoshihara. I drive Town 14 Distribution Falken Tire BRZ. And I've been drifting over 20 years, and then I've been competing Formula Drift since day one. And I'm from Japan. My goal for this year is, of course, win the championship. But you know, coming from 13th place, it's not gonna be easy. So I know it's a step-by-step thing. So of course I will aim for the championship, but I would like to get on a podium every single round, and hopefully that'll put me into the good position ended up 2021 season. My biggest rival in this series or this season, I can't really name one driver because everybody's so good and it's so competitive. I can't really pick one driver, to be honest. Everybody's my competitor. When I'm able to put up my best run and able to show that to all the fans, that's like a big reward. So that's the favorite part. My best memory of Formula Drift is, of course, when I won the championship in 2011. So you know, I've been drifting last over 20 years and last 18 years as a professional drifting series. So it's basically part of my life. I don't know where to stop. It's my life. So can't really explain why I keep drifting, but I don't know how I can stop drifting.
Formula Drift is brought to you by BC Racing, the official suspension of Formula Drift. Go for gold. And by Falken Tire. All right, Ron Baugh tuning in. We got fans from all over the world. So thank you for tuning in. There is Daijiro Yoshihara. Is never mistaken the hair and the visor. And contrary to popular belief, that is his real hair. It's not one of those dad visors that you buy down at the fair. That is his real hair. He's been rocking the visor game since day one. All right. And jumping into that burnout box, that is Rad Dan, Radical Dan Burkett. Speaking of hair, he's got the mullet. Business up front, party out back. And the Rad Industries Gear Wrench Toyota Supra. And here is our leaderboard. Fredric Aasbo leads the pack. Bakchis, Essa, Taguchi, Pawlak, Yoshihara. You got Dylan Hughes, Forsberg, and then Kearney, Denofa, Gittin, Field, Tuerck, Myers, Robbins, Sorensen, Burkett, Simon Olsen. All right, those guys have yet to run. We've already seen 18 drivers. Here is currently 19th, Rad Dan Burkett. Dan Burkett leaving that start line, coming to the outside zone, throwing. Look at that rate to angle, taps the wall, kind of slowly rolling into it, Ryan. Now past that front clip, you saw him tap that wall, coming into the second outside zone. Wow, really deep. Oh, and that's gonna, yeah. I was like, I don't know how he's gonna hold on to that. Just unfortunately not able to. So Dan Burkett, unfortunately, with an incomplete on his first run.
There was definitely some trouble brewing there up on the big bank, but it'll be a non-factor here. The incomplete happened down on the lower bank, just in front of the grandstands on the grass, and unfortunately for Dan, he'll be joining that bottom 8. Those lower scores now are becoming strategically pretty important, because we have seen some guys forego their first run in the situation, or like with Ryan Tuerck, and just have had some some mistakes that have been made. So we're starting to stack up some guys.
That's right.
That definitely are contenders that are going to have to deal with that bottom 8, and Rad Dan will join them as he heads back to his hot pit.
Yeah, and notably, Matt Field, and here's that sector map that we've been talking about so much, and you can see that bottom left, the key down there, the legend as they call it, the fluidity commitment total, and then you can see the sectors, how it breaks down. So you got 10 per green section, 10 per that yellow section, so 20 points right out of the gate just on outside zone 1. Inside clip 1, 10, And then outside zone 2, 10. But you kick things off in a grand way. Next up, we're going to see Simon Olsen. I met his parents earlier. Coming to us from Norway, his mom and dad. It's his mom's first Formula Drift event, so thank you for them for coming out. Simon Olsen. That Street Hunters design kit. Shout out TJ. What's up, homeboy? I know you're watching. Simon Olsen from Norway. Does have a 2J under the hood of his Toyota Supra.
That's the
And looks like Olsen clear to send. Matt Sopa. And here we go. Olsen with the Norwegian flag flying off of his antenna. And here we go. Initiates. Little too low there for Olsen. He does keep it within the lines, aka on the track. Now past that first inside clip, into the second outside zone. I feel like he's going to be a lot more comfortable here in the flatter portion of the track. Does come up a bit, oh, and that's going to be an incomplete.
Yeah, I was just saying, I don't think we're going to get to 9 incompletes, and we're starting to rack them up. That's 6. So we're seeing some drivers with these, you know, all 3 of the things that can happen on the negative side. You know, a big mistake, a mechanical problem in the case of Field, or in the case of Tuerck, not able to make it to the front of the line. So we're seeing the whole swath of issues that can take place here in order to give yourself or to render an incomplete, and it's happening across the board.
Yeah, unfortunately, just Simon Olsen, I believe, you know, right out of the gate, the car gripped up, and when he transitioned to the second outside zone, his line was off. You can see him shallow, taking that shallower line and try to just wrap it around that second inside clip, and just did not work out for Simon Olsen. So he will be in the not so great 8. And we move on to our next driver, Jonathan Castro.
Oh, he's upset.
Frustration kicking in there. He knows he's got it. I mean, we've seen some great driving from him. Just like I said, that man and machine marriage. Going into that big bank is very intimidating. It's deceiving on just the angle of that bank and how long. And some of these guys, and with Fredric Aasbo going right out of the gate and putting down a 95, make it look really, really easy. Jonathan Castro, Judo, Metaldon, GT86. He should be jumping out. There it is. Jumps out of the Pedal Commander burnout box, pulls to the start line. So necks and tires on the corner. Let's see what Castro's got. I feel like he's really going to go for it. I mean, he's qualified well in the past. I'm expecting something big here. Initiates high. Let's see if he can maintain that height. There we go. Nice and high. Look at that. Well done. Mobile 1 synthetics running through the veins. Transition now in that second outside zone. A little correction by the wheel. I got nervous there for him. Oh boy. Overshoots. Oh no. And that's 4 incompletes in a row, Ryan.
Jeez. I mean, the unraveling here is getting a little bit weird, because that run started off great. Run started off really great on the big bank. He was checking all the boxes, and then I think you noticed that little mistake that he made down on the inside, and then from there, it just kind of fell apart. So yeah, we're starting to see these drivers make these mistakes, in this case, that you wouldn't typically expect from drivers of the caliber of Jonathan Castro. So unfortunately, it will be an incomplete. That's where the front end starts to get a little bit washed out, and as he moves from the middle section of that zone to the latter section of the zone, he overshoots the inside clip, and then he comes out of drift altogether, and by that point, there's really no reason to re-engage. He shuts it down, and he will also have to go to the bottom. I'm eating pro right now. I said, nah, we're not going to get 9 incompletes.
Yeah, we have 7.
Let's keep it there.
Let's keep it 7, 8. We're good. I don't want any more than 8. Let's keep it clean. And the hood is popped. You wonder if something went south. We're checking out. So moving on to, now this vehicle, we've seen a lot of people pilot this vehicle over the years, including, this is actually Matt Field's old competition vehicle. We saw Pat Gooden, the absolute passionate Pat, the king of spring break. He's piloted this thing a few times, and he's taken this thing around the track. But right now, Adam LZ is behind the wheel of this vehicle. So Adam LZ is piloting this S14, this supercharged LS vehicle. Unfortunately, Adam LZ suffered an engine failure, called on Matt Field and said, let me borrow that thing.
That car, I believe, won an event here, correct?
Yeah.
Gears of War year?
Yeah, the Gears of War livery.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he won an event in that vehicle. So it's a capable machine. And here we go, Adam LZ. Coming down now, initiating into the big initiation. You can see falling down that bank. Now, Ryan, this is another case where just get a score. You know, because, you know, who knows what can happen. Just put one in the books. One, that looked like one tire off, but just he saves it. Almost rotated that thing. Don't know how much seat time he's had in this. As Adam LZ does, he will be getting a score. I mean, it's, yeah.
He pieced it together.
Not the prettiest, but still.
He pieced it together. You know, one of our original judges, Andy Yen, kind of came up with this term called chopping up the course, I believe. And, you know, he was chopping it up a little bit here. And kind of by necessity, probably getting used to the car, just trying to make it happen and get a score so that he doesn't have to deal with the bottom 8. I think he's going to do that. It's going to be a low score, but just by the nature of where we stand with the incompletes and the number of incompletes, it's probably going to be enough to get the job done.
Yeah, Adam LZ, Rookie of the Year in our season last year. It's great to see him. A great addition to the Formula Drift drivers field. An exciting driver to watch, and obviously brings in a ton of fans. A lot of Adam LZ loyalists. And there is his run. Bringing it on through. Like you said, just chopping it up way off of that second inside clip and then bringing it on home. Dipping in those back 2 tires in that final outside zone. But he does get a score nonetheless. Good see. And doing it for Dale, got that black livery. The mean black wheels and Nitto tires on the corners. Drift HQ, a new endeavor for them. And there it is, a 65 for Adam LZ. And puts him into 13th place. So with all of those incompletes, Ryan, 7 in total. Let's see what we get. Here we go. This is Jonathan Hurst, one of the loudest cars on track. This thing is absolutely blazing. Let's take a listen to Jonathan Hurst's vehicle as he goes into this first corner. The Cash Racing Infiniti G37.
You gonna lay back?
Sure. Orange G37's red glare as Jonathan Hurst breaking the sound barrier with that thing.
You want to go color on this?
No, go ahead, you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jonathan Hurst getting that run done here, gets a nice little snap. Kind of conservative, but getting the job done. Really just needs to get that score. Midline on the bank, coming down into this inside clip, gets on that second hash mark. Looks like he's decelling in the right places, but unfortunately he's a little bit on the shallow side of that second outside zone. Inside clip, nails it. Good fluid transition back around. Right at the entrance of that outside zone, and then moves directly to the back, farther part of the final outside zone. So it does a good job to adjust there, but definitely did not make it look chopped up at all. A little bit of a body roll in the car there as he was getting ready for the transition, but very minor. So this is gonna be a pretty decent score for him, and he certainly did a great job.
Yeah, I think it's just the attitude and the suspension setup, just how the car rolls and rotates. So a 78-11, almost 7-11 there for Jonathan Hurst. 78 for Jonathan Hurst, that Cash Racing G37. And there are our standings. Aasbo still leads the pack. You can see our top 4 in the 90s. Yoshihara, Reeder, Jones, and rounding out the top 20 are actually just the 15 because Field, Tuerck. So Vaughn with the 56. He will be getting in. He will be getting a score. You know, he'll be in head-to-head, but our remaining drivers still yet to go. You can see Hull, Naren, Rome Charpentier, Mohan. And there is Taylor Hull, the Comp Cams Next Entire Liqui Moly Cadillac ATS-V. Let's see what Taylor full pull Hull can throw down. And here is Taylor Hull going through. Let's see if we can throw it down here, bud. Nice initiation from Taylor Hull, really high in the bank. Look at that. You can see he's throwing some more angle at it towards the last portion. Past that inside clip. Throwing a brick on the gas pedal. Massive angle there from Taylor Hull. Ryan, this could be a real contender. Now comes back in that final outside zone. Man, Taylor Hull, and just the progression of that car, the build from 3 years ago to now, that vehicle has really, and obviously not taking anything away from the driver, but just the vehicle looks more manageable.
Yeah, this is a banger of a run here, and if he's trying to make a statement here at the last event of the year, he's getting off to a good start. It's a nice fluid initiation into the bank. Not a crazy rate to angle, but consistent, nice and high pretty much all the way through. Maybe came off that inside clip a little bit early, but the aggressive driving is what's standing out here. Really full throttle, a lot of commitment, great job on that second inside clip. Nice movement back around. Gets the butt of the car right there. Could have pushed a little bit deeper, but at this point, he's doing pretty much everything he needs to do. He's gonna drop right into that top 32 easily, and it's just gonna be about the nuances of the score and where the deduction's gonna take place. But I really can appreciate the amount of effort he put into the driving here on the aggressive side. We always like to see drivers try to go out there and be aggressive as possible. If they make mistakes because of them being aggressive, it's much better than them making a lazy mistake or not pushing at all and then kind of having to be a lackluster performance.
I think it's back to the point that we started the show with. You said Irwindale, final round. After this, there's nothing else as far as Formula Drift competition. That's an absolute pure testament to what Taylor Hull did right there. That was a perfect example.
Yeah, worst case scenario, you trailer your crashed cars. I've seen that.
Yeah, and that's happened. That definitely has happened. I mean, I know, Forsberg's taking it hard in the wall. I mean, it happens all around. But seeing Nick Gross down there, he's hyped for his man. Nick Gross, a Pro-Am drifter as well on his team. Got Taylor Hull maybe taking a look at it. So Taylor Hull tuning in, watch himself run. An 87 there for Taylor Hull. So a line, you got 26, 30 angle, 25 out of 30 style, 36 out of 40. Next up, Jonathan Nairn. Jonathan Nairn and Juku Racing, BC Racing. Federal Tires S14. And here we go with Mr. Nairn. See how he handles it here. Initiates into the bank. You can see the thing ripping up way low on the bank. This should be good for Nairn. Now comes on. Oh, and that will be in it. Brian, that is 8 incomplete. That will be all she wrote for Nairn on this run. So Brian, anybody at this point that puts down a score will be in the show. Yeah.
So that is a confirmed incomplete, and that puts us right at the threshold, as you said, Jared. So pass it through the hot pits right now. 1 point will get the job done.
Right. Just get that one.
So the remaining drivers that we have right now: Rome Charpentier, Kyle Mohan, Masuyama, Gushi, Beecham, Sharifo, and Literal. Is that right?
Yep. That is.
So those drivers right there should be focusing on just getting a point on the board. This guy got 95 of those.
Right out of the gate.
Fredric Aasbo, first run of the night, under the lights. Tremendous job. And if you're just joining the broadcast, you'll see some of the distinct differences between the #1 qualifier and some of the other runs that are a few points off, but just don't have that extra ingredient. Aasbo was able to get into the big bank early, stayed there, he didn't move. The front wheels had very little movement. He was locked in, that shows he's confident. His timing was right. Good throttle control, hit the inside clip, just barely knocking it over, and did a tremendous job, got a 95, and I think that may be one of the few 90s that we've seen so far. And it's possible to get one from this guy as he has continued to impress people, especially in the head-to-head battle.
Yeah, Rome Charpentier, the garage stick, BMW E36. Look at this. Rome, massive angle from him. This is another scenario of leaving it all out on the track run. Comes now to that second outside zone. Wow. Watch it with the naked eye. That looks very scary. Now comes that final outside zone. Rome Charpentier working it in and bringing it home. That's another testimonial to your point, leaving it all out on the track.
Solid performance there from Rome. This is going to be one of the better scored runs of the night, just because there's very little room, I think, to argue that he wasn't going as deep as he could in these zones. And that is such a big part of the overall scoring in those two sectors there, in those two zones there, because there's 4 sectors for outside zone 1 and 2. Especially in outside zone 2, he gets in early, he stays there. Look at the front wheels, they're locked, so he knows exactly what he's doing, and he's confident in his approach there. This final outside zone as well, gets in about midline, goes deep. I mean, there's gonna be some deductions for sure, but overall, for one of the final runs that we're gonna see here, he pulls off a really great run.
All right, as now Rome. And there's Rome waving to his fans. Well done there. His crew hyped for his run. And here is Rome Charpentiers taking a look at the replay run.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's pretty high on the bank. He started a little bit lower than he should have, but he quickly corrected and he did it cleanly. So again, I'm certainly impressed by this run. It's It's not going to be our #1 qualifier, but it is a strong performance from him. This is something that he should be proud of. He's finishing off his season in qualifying in a really, really strong way, and I think the judges will reward him here. I'd like to see where the deductions come about. There's probably going to be a little bit off in angle, point or two off in style. And yeah, there you go, solid score.
Yo, an 89, well done by Rome Charpentier. And absolutely solid, reflective of a score, and smiles for miles. Rome with an 89 puts him into 5th position. Rising to the occasion, Rome. Next up, Kyle Mohan. He says this thing's freshened up since the Drift Challenge at Long Beach Grand Prix. He says, you know, paint, engine, full rebuild. He's ready to go. He's ready to throw down. Let's see what you got there. KMR, Kyle Mohan Racing. Renewable lubricants, Mazda 6, Mazda RX-8. Looking solid now. Mid-bank. Works his way up top. Lone rotary in competition. That second outside zone. And the engine refresh seems to be working out right now. Looks good for Mohan. Now in that final outside zone. Really well done there, fluid. You love to see it. Well done there by Kyle Mohan.
Yeah, and if you followed Kyle Mohan's program over the past couple of years, you know they've really been trying super hard to kind of harmonize the car with his driving, and they've had a real significant breakout event at Long Beach. Yep. Made the top 16, and I think everybody that I spoke to and people were, you know, volunteering the information is that, yes, this is a much different car for Kyle. Yeah. They've made the correct changes. He looks more fluid in it. The car's not jerking around as much. And it looks like that is kind of continuing here into Irwindale. Puts down a pretty solid run, is going to get easily into the top 32, and it just becomes about what the score is going to be and where the positioning is going to be in the bracket. But I think if I had to take a guess, and just also kind of taking a little bit of information from his pops, having a car that he has confidence with is going to allow him to do more of the things that he wanted to do, and it does help. It does pay off here.
An 83 for Kyle Mohan. A great qualifying run for Mohan. So still left Masuyama, Gushi, Beecham, Safiro, and Sharifo. Why did I say Safiro? Excuse me. Federico Sharifo. What's that? No, yeah. Fiero? No, a Safiro is a Japanese car. A Fiero would be the Pontiac, the hot little number. Yeah, that's full on. And then Ryan Literal. And this is Wataru Masuyama and that Buy Now Japan Sylvia S15. And let's see what we got here. Great looking car from Masuyama. See how he throws down here at Irwindale. Masuyama. Mid-height on the bank now. Past that front clip. That second outside zone goes Masuyama. Tapping that rev limiter, taking out that front clip, almost disrupts him. Almost throws him offline, but he holds on to it and finishes strong. So Masuyama, yeah, bouncing off that rev limiter. It's not ideally what we want to hear or /see, but still gets it done.
Yeah, Masuyama had that one round where he didn't accumulate any points, and that's been the downside of the season for him. Just not being able to have that impact at one round has an effect with just 8 rounds over the summer season. But he has turned into a pretty solid driver, getting more comfortable in that vehicle and showing some looks that we're more familiar with what we saw from him in FD Japan, where he was always a top 3 driver. Finishes up that last outside zone pretty strong there. just needs to get a score on the board, and he will do that.
Yeah, we talked about that scenario. 8 drivers with incompletes, notably Matt Field. But I will tell you that just a few drivers ago, behind them, warming up his tires, making sure the car is running, was Matt Field. So we do see the car running, and that is a good sign for this championship contender. An 83 and 83 there for Masuyama. 4 more drivers left. Remember, we do have our not so great 8. So already those drivers that we're going to be seeing, we got Matt Field, Ryan Tuerck, Alec Robbins, Brandon Sorensen, Dan Burkett, Simon Olsen, Jonathan Castro, and Jonathan Nairn. And here we go, Kenshiro Gushi. So with the departing of Yoshihara and Vaughn Gittin Jr., 2 OGs still left, Chris Forsberg and Ken Gushi. Ryan Tuerck just shy a few events of being an OG, and Kyle Mohan, but just those that were at 04 Atlanta, Ken Gushi and Chris Forsberg. Ken Gushi throws it into gear. You see the shaking of that Toyota Supra. Credit Toyota Gadget Racing GR Supra. Kenshiro Gushi initiating. Good angle from him. I think this is another scenario, Ryan, where the next tires go around and Gushi is going to leave it all out on the track. He's had some major moments here that were less than ideal, but his perseverance, his attitude, his youthfulness, his support with Toyota, and right now, a solid qualifying run from Ken Gushi.
Yeah, I mean, just being honest, obviously Ken knows that this season is not representative of the driving skill that he brings to the table. He was second in points in just over the less than, what is it, 5 years ago?
Yeah.
And, you know, he won an event here just a few years ago. The majority of his issues have been mechanical gremlins. And, you know, that is super frustrating when it happens at multiple events. This is a hometown track for him. He wants to perform well here, and hopefully the car holds up. He can finish strong. He's going to get down. He's going to get a pretty decently scored run here. A couple little mistakes. Could have been deeper, longer in certain sections of the course, outside zone 1 and 2. But this is going to get him where he needs to be, and it'll just be about placement in the bracket. Let's take a look from the drone coming down off of the bank. Nice little motion there through that inside clip. Quickly snaps back. He transitions, and that's where he could have been a little bit deeper through that zone, but still will pick up a score here, and much better execution there on that final and third outside zone.
Ken Gushi back in the pits awaiting his score. 3 more drivers left of their first qualifying run. The Gretty Toyota GR Supra, an 84. An 84 for Ken Gushi. Puts him into the 12th position. So 3 drivers left. Beecham, Sharifo, and Ryan Littoral.
Still sitting on 8, huh?
Still sitting on 8.
It's been easy, right? So far, in terms of, you know, there's really hasn't, I guess, been any need to do any math on the bottom guys. It's just the guys.
You just cursed us, so I appreciate that. But yeah, still 8. Just taking a look at it. As Trent Beecham warming up his tires. The Clonex Racing next entire Ford Mustang. Definitely a talented driver. I know maybe a little timid there at Long Beach at round 7, but he has had some success at the Long Beach Grand Prix Invitational. So let's see what Beecham's got for us here at Irwindale. Last read, the third driver of the Beecham comes out of the chute, initiates. Now stands on it as Beecham. Looks like he's falling down the bank quite a bit. That very well could have been off course there, Ryan. Backing it in. Massive angle there for Beecham. I'm surprised he salvaged that angle. That got a little hairy coming in that final outside zone.
Yeah, some of the problems seem to start with the initiation. It looks like he had a little bit of a hiccup there, and then obviously we saw the problems kind of multiply once he got about halfway through the bank, really angled up and had to, really the car just was forced down. But let's take a look at this initiation from above. You see kind of initiates, gets a little bit to angle, and then starts putting on more angle. He starts left foot braking, and a lot of angle develops in the car, and he has to slow up and come out of it because he's getting pulled down the track, and he doesn't want to go free off. He might have been, but I think we need to see that from the drone side of things to see if that rear left was also over when those front two were over. So I don't know. I'm hoping it's not an incomplete, for his sake, but there's a really good argument for a multitude of mistakes here.
Here's the drone shot here of Beecham. You see him, as you said, Ryan, comes out of it.
See, I don't think the 3 is conclusive there, so I'd give him the benefit of the doubt. But, the judges do have this ability to basically say, look, if there's a multitude of mistakes, significant ones that happen over the length of the run, and it would have been hard for a chase driver to follow what you're doing, like that, like what you should be needing to be on throttle inside of a zone and then backing off, knowing that you've got a chase driver closing. I've seen them incomplete stuff like that before.
Right. Judges want to take a look at initiation.
It's one of those stepped initiations. It's like he goes for it, he puts a little angle in the car, but then he puts more angle in the car in a stepped way, like boom, and then a bit more. Yeah. Not that really quick rotation, that rate of angle that we like to see, where they lock in.
Boom, boom. You see him yank the handbrake.
Yeah.
He goes for it and then just absolutely just rips that thing apart.
I feel like I'm hearing some multitude of mistakes language over there.
And yeah, that is an incomplete. Just a multitude of mistakes from the initiation, stepped initiation. You got to think chaseable.
Almost 3 off.
Yeah, almost 3 off or 3 off again. But like you said, but mistakes here and there. So unfortunately for Beecham, that will be an incomplete, and that will be 9 incomplete. So we are taking more than we anticipated into the not so great 9 now.
Yeah, and as a former champion in the final year of the Pro 2 championship, he's not happy with that.
Right.
He knows that he can do better, and he will get another opportunity, but that does mean that we are now at 9 incomplete. So we just made the guys in the truck really upset because it's going to mess up the scoring.
Well, Federico Sharifo, it's good to see him. We barely got to Long Beach. Flew in, landed, hit the ground running, and running his signature Ferrari, the Triple F Racing Department, Nexen tire, 599 GTB. Here we go, Federico Sharifo coming down. And initiates, kind of very similar to that of Beecham. We saw him initiate and then kind of get back in it. As Fetty past that front clip. And then through that second outside zone, the whizzing of that 12-cylinder machine. And now into that final outside zone. Freddie brings it all the way through. Thank you, Fetty. Always has a smiling face, keeping it positive. Was that enough, Ryan?
Well, like Ken Gushi, he's had a couple no-point accumulated rounds this season, and that's what's hurt him. That's what's put him down at the bottom of the pack, and he's trying to leave a lasting impression here at the final event of the year, Irwindale. Get that Ferrari in line, give him something that he can drive consistently with confidence. looks like it's going to be a scored run. There's a little bit of uneasiness in the car, a little bit of shakiness on the big bank. And he's able to kind of hold it together here, finish up that run, and avoid the bottom 9 now by getting a score on the board.
All right, as Betty waits for a score, is it going to be enough? Yeah, I think you're right, Ryan. It's just enough to get scored. Yep. Yeah, so the judges are really kind of fixated on the initiation, similar to that of Beecham. Again, on the initiation, you saw Federico kind of do a similar to that of Beecham. Let's see what Federico's got. Initiate, like you see the wobbling. The judges analyzing, scrutinizing. One more driver left. The power stop brakes, GT Radial S15 of Ryan Literal.
That one was like a 3-step initiation,
right.
You know.
1, 2, 3.
He didn't fully come settled. Well, I mean, is it chaseable?
Right. That's the big question for me, and I would venture to say it's pretty difficult. You know, like you said, the one step, but
Big Kev got a new hat.
Yeah. What happened to the Big Kev there? What happened to the Crocodile Dundee lid?
Huh? All right, bottom 10.
Yep, unfortunately, Federico Sharifo will have an incomplete. That is 10 drivers now with incompletes. Ryan, just the latter portion of we saw in Pro Spec and now in Pro, the latter portion, unfortunately, we are seeing a culmination of quite a few incompletes. And unfortunately, it came down to that initiation. So here we go with our final driver of their first pull, Ryan Literal, coming out of that burnout box. The RB Army, Ryan Literal. The power stop brakes, GT Radial S15. From Riverside, California. Let's see what you got here. Ryan Literal. For our final first pull for our driver. See what Ryan Literal's got. Always got style. You can see the chrome wheels go spinning around. Now coming past that inside clip into that second outside zone. Sticks it in there. Past the second inside clip and now in that final outside zone. Big angle from Literal and brings it on home. A great effort there, a good execution, excuse me, not even effort, just a good execution by Ryan Literal.
Yeah, very competitively strong and mature approach there. Didn't need to be on the ragged edge, didn't need to get a 100-point run, didn't need to knock anybody out of a position, need to get a score on the board.
You can't win in qualifying.
Yeah, and he played it smart, and he's going to get right into the top 32. He's not going to have to take a risk on a second run. He'll find himself in a decent position here. You know, just looking at the run itself, obviously he's quite a ways off that big bank, but he's looking pretty smooth here through that first inside clip. Obviously, he could have had more angle going into outside zone 2, but he's deep enough to, you know, give himself enough, probably collection of points to be mid-pack-ish.
Yep.
And strong finish there on the final outside zone. He really starts lighting up the tires, generating more wheel speed. And so good job by him. Really, smart move there.
Well, that culminates everybody's first run. Once we get Ryan Literal's score, we'll take a short break and come right back into it and get our 10 drivers that had incomplete runs, re-rack them. And like I said, we have 31 drivers. So if you get a score, you are in. But if you have a double zero, that could equate to, again, already our #1 qualifier is Fredric Aasbo. Fredric Aasbo will be our #1 qualifier. So our current points leader is going from today into tomorrow, going into top 16. So that means, you know, Matt Field, who has an incomplete, you know, you're talking about Chelsea Denofa, he's in the mix, he's already up there, but Fredric Aasbo has a bye run because of only 31 drivers. So taking a look at this, look at Adam LZ lands 65 with a score of 65 in the 20th spot. But Masuyama, Jones, Castro, but there it is, Vaughn Gittin Jr., 21st. That's as low as he can actually qualify. So that's where he's going to land. The remaining drivers, we'll see where they land. When we come back, we'll find out where they do land here at Formula Drift. The Type S title fight, round 8 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship, the bottom 10, when we come back here to the House of Drift.
Made in Japan. Breed.
What's up, everyone? We're pumped to announce Ford's Drift to Dirt Sweepstakes, where you can win your choice of a newly redesigned 2021 F-150 Raptor featuring Fox shocks with live valve technology, 5-link rear suspension, and Recaro seats.
Or you can win a 2021 Ford Mustang GT convertible, which you can shred the tires with 460 horsepower and 6 styling.
All you have to do is head to drifttodirt.com and enter to win.
Formula Drift is brought to you by Air Force, Aim High. Type S, official lighting sponsor of Formula Drift. Lights, camera, power, fun. And GT Radial, experience the performance. Welcome back here to the House of Drift. Round 8, and now we're in the not-so-great 10. Unfortunately, we saw 10 incomplete runs. 10 incomplete runs, so we are going to re-rack them. So notably, Matt Field, who is 3rd in points, had an incomplete. We saw the car running. There it is. So Field, Tuerck, Robbins, Sorensen, Burkett, Olsen, Castro, Naren, And then after that, we have Trent Beecham and Federico Sharifo. So let's see. All they need to do is get a score on the board. Oh, man. I mean, just going off of what they did, they could definitely clean it up, but the big questions are, did Matt Field remedy the problem? Did Ryan Tuerck, did he fix his problem? They, you know, he pulled out, he didn't even have a go at the course. All right, well, there is Matt Field. Like I said, he's wearing a special bright pink cancer awareness Momo race suit that will be auctioned off, so stay tuned on his social media platforms. He says at the final FD event, he's wearing a special Momo race suit in support of breast cancer awareness. After the racing action, Momo will be putting the suit on the eBay auction for you to have a chance to bid and win. All proceeds from the auction will be donated to Cancer Action of Kansas City, which supports people in the Kansas City area living with breast cancer by providing services and financial assistance. Breast Cancer Awareness Month has taken on a very special significance for many companies and individuals who band together to make a difference in the lives of those who have suffered with breast cancer and those who have lost loved ones to breast cancer. The pink lights are on, the pink suit is on, suited and booted. And those Type S lights are on. Speaking of Type S, save 25%. Premium customization accessories and car electronics, ranging from LED lighting kits to portable jump starters to dash cams. Type S, up to 25% off the hottest and best-selling products. Go to types.com/FD, typesauto.com/FD. Again, 25%. And Sunday, October 24th at 11:59 p.m., so midnight on Sunday. Limited time only, 25% off. Act now. This is the Type S title fight. You can see those Type S lights, many other items. So check them out. typesauto.com/FD for 25% off. All right, looks like Matt Field ready to rip. And looks like he is getting prepped. And here is your Air Force trivia. Look up in your description. What nickname was given to the airman who airdropped Santa, Candy Bomber, Birdie, or Willy Wonka? The airman who airdropped chocolate to children during the Berlin airlift. Santa, Candy Bomber, Birdie, or Willy Wonka airdropped some chocolate to children during the Berlin. So go into the description on the YouTube video and you will see the Aim High Air Force trivia. Matt Field warming up his tires. Falkens wrapped around his Forge Star wheels. This is a critical moment for the Beast from the Bay. The 777.
I don't like it.
Why do you not like it?
Because the champion, I'm not even going to say it, but you know, I mean, it's a logical.
It happens. This is Irwindale. Oh no.
See, this is.
Oh no.
I'm nervous.
The only saving grace for Matt right now is he does have a competition timeout.
I mean, because if he doesn't finish, okay, get back in there. There we go.
All right.
Re-engaged.
So, I mean, that was definitely sketchy. What's going on there? Okay, it was just something loose in the car, so it could have been just something.
Oh, our guy's flagged it down.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think maybe there was something in the footbed or something like that in the footwell.
Like, hey, let me see what's going on there.
Yeah. What's cracking, dude? Hearing something loose.
Well, let's hope that's something superficial at worst, right?
Well,
please.
Yeah, I mean, and I know you're saying please, not to show favoritism, but to give the best competition possible.
Absolutely. I mean,
that's
look,
what you're looking for.
Look at the point spread.
Yep.
He's 1 point away from Denofa, and those guys are all within 20 points. So, I mean, this is the championship fight.
And Aasbo's guaranteed a top 16 introduction.
I know.
So think about that.
Yeah, making it real clear.
Here we go, Matt Field, his second do-or-die run. Matt Field leaves the starting line. He just needs to score on the board. He will see competition. If you can recall, he had a great first run, but it shut down on that third and final outside zone. Matt Field, a little bit of wavering there. Now coming past that front inside clip, big angle from him. Now coming to that second outside zone. There goes Matt Field. Looks like his eyes are on the prize, very deep here. Now remember, he can't qualify any higher than 21. So think about that. In that final outside zone, Matt Field is in. Yeah. So the highest he can qualify is 22nd. So again, Vaughn Gittin Jr., he qualified 21st, but he got it done on his first run, and now 22nd and lower, 22nd to 31. That's what we're going to see.
Yeah, and Matt has done so much to kind of increase his kind of competition IQ, sports psychology, that kind of thing. As long as the car is working fine, he's going to go out and do stuff like this. He had a little bit of a reduction of angle up on the big bank, but for the most part, this is a pretty solid run overall, even just needing a score. If he does end up getting 22, that's going to put him up against, we can probably find out right now. This will be interesting to figure out who we might go up against. Let's see, where's 22?
And there's Ripper, aka Rig Commander, Boat Commander.
11. So who's 11th right now?
There's a 93. I mean, that's a fantastic score.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, but he can't assume the #1 position. He can only get as high as 22nd. All right, another vehicle that was having issues before he even left the starting line, Ryan Tuerck. And that gum-out Toyota Racing, Toyota Corolla hatchback. And it looks like Ryan Tuerck with his Nitto tires pulling up to the start line.
Looks like Denofa is going to be going up against Masuyama.
Denofa and Masuyama.
Just on this, like, you know, kind of preliminary.
Yeah, on the unofficial bracket that I see you building out over here.
Gittin's going up against Gushi.
And as we said, Aasbo would have a bye run at top left-hand corner. Here we go, Ryan Tuerck with his second run. Can he get it done? Looks like the car is buttoned up considerably from even when we saw it after the incident, and then tried to pull up the line, and it was a no-go. Ryan Tuerck initiates the gum-out Toyota Racing Toyota Corolla hatchback. Middle line, yeah, keeping it safe. Temper the flame. You're not going to win. You're not going to qualify any higher. Like we said, then that 22nd spot. This is not going to better a 93 by Matt Field. But this is just getting the car back up and running, keeping it good, and there we go. Ryan Tuerck is in the head-to-head battles. Ryan Tuerck came into this round of competition sitting 6th overall in points outside of the championship hunt.
Another smart run here from a driver that has done well this year and finds himself in that top 5, top 6 conversation. Trying to go out with a bang here and got the first part of the job done. He's now into the main part of competition, the tandem drifting. As you said, Jared, I don't think he's going to better Matt Field's score. So that probably means that he can't get any higher than 23rd. And 23rd goes up against number 10. So once we get the roll call back up again, we'll plug in some of these hypotheticals. We can start thinking about who's going to see who.
Smoke still lingering there above Irwindale Speedway. 85 and 85 there for Ryan Tuerck. Well done by Tuerck. And now we move on to, this is Alec Robbins. Alec Robbins in the Pedal Commander burnout box. And so Alec Robbins, he rotated, just threw too much angle at it and came to a halt. Robbins from Becker, Minnesota, is about to go on his second run. And a reminder for just tuning in, all these drivers, their second run, if they get the score, they will see head-to-head competition. 31 drivers, and Robbins looks like he goes to initiate. You can see him kind of wavering. Past that inside clip into the second outside zone. Seems like it's kind of dropping as far as the tone of the exhaust. That you can almost hear it there as Robbins brings it across the finish line.
Yeah, it was
kind
of not the conservative run that you want, where it's controlled. You're actually purposely doing a very moderate run to make sure you get in. This one got a little scary there for a second, but I think he's going to be fine. Up on the big bank, you see he had that wavering there, and that put him into some pretty big risk for straightening out, but he was able to kind of pull it back together, get through the big bank, the inside clip. Here he is on the inner bank, way on the inside. So it's going to be low score, but I think it is going to be scored. And then right here, he really cuts the line shallow, misses that zone completely by, 10 feet or so.
It's kind of where Chelsea's line was.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But that was by design. All right, the Facetto, you can see all the sponsors there, Koenig wheels. And that is a 64 for Alec Robbins. Yeah, if you get an incomplete on this run, because all of these gentlemen are sitting on incompletes. If you get an incomplete, not once but twice, you will not be seeing competition. And honestly, if any of these drivers get double incompletes, that would mean number 2 qualifier would get a bye, and if another driver gets double incompletes, number 3 qualifier would get a bye run into the 16. So Odi Bakchis is at 92, sitting in second position. So if any of these drivers get a double zero, Odi Bakchis would then get a bye run in top 16. Brandon Sorensen piloting his sister's vehicle, Amanda Sorensen. 17 years old, I believe now, or 16. Youngest drifters in Formula Drift. Youngest driver to compete head-to-head. Qualifying. Brandon Sorensen from Las Vegas now comes into that first outside zone. Big angle from him. Wow. Yeah, and this is a zero chill Brandon Sorensen. Big angle there.
There we go, there we go.
Winding it up into that second outside zone. And sometimes it's just better to not go flat out, but you can kind of back off. It might not work out for you. Oh, man.
Yeah. Wow. Don't mess up my car, big brother.
Wow. Salvage that. That could have been nasty. You said little brother, right? Because he's the little one.
Yeah.
Amanda's older. Yeah, little brother goes and takes the car and slams it. So, I mean, that was not chill. That was solid.
That was a sick run. And that part where you did the whoa, like maybe he might throw it away, he actually pulled that off pretty well. Nice. It became more of an asset to the run than a mistake. And man, this is solid.
Yeah. I mean, again, they can't do any better than 22nd, but Matt Field has a 93.
I think this is going to be in the ballpark there.
Yo.
Only because the only area where he could have been better, I think, relative to Field, was on the beginning part of outside zone 2. He came in more midline and then went deep. And I'm trying to think back to the exact deductions that Field got, but I mean, it's right there.
A 90 for Brandon Sorensen, a really great drive there for him. So currently sitting 23rd as Brandon Sorensen leaves the room. Dan Burkett. Dan Burkett in his Rad Industries gear wrench Toyota Supra After that, we'll see Simon Olsen. After Simon Olsen, we will see Jonathan Castro. After we see Castro, we will see Jonathan Nairn. And then moving on from there, we will see Trenton Beecham and then Federico Sharifo. All right, here's Dan Burkett. Radical Daniel leaving the start line. Saw him, made a mistake there on his first run. Initiates the car, grips up, goes down the bank. Big angle past that front inside clip to the second outside zone. Getting all of it, taking out that inside clip. That won't hurt him, but now into that final outside zone. And, yep, there we go, put another score in the books. Pretty decent there for Rad Dan.
I think this is going to be, you know, maybe a low to mid 80s score. So he obviously did more than he needed to. Kind of drops down on that bank quite a bit. We see the drivers taking that approach when all they need to do is get a score. No reason to take the risk up a notch if it's not necessary. But overall, the run looked pretty fluid, and he played it safe enough to get himself well into the top 32. No problems there. But, you know, a couple points here and there.
Always a great looking car. Rad Dan waits for his score, and it's an 80. That's an 8-0 for Dan Burkett. All right, we had 10 drivers. 5 drivers have completed their second runs. 5 more drivers left to decide, are they going to be seeing competition? Simon Olsen up next. Okay, Simon Olsen. Here comes Olsen. He's now running on Nexen tires. That Street Hunters design kit out on the corners and leaving that start line. Simon Olsen, what do you got? Flying the Norwegian flag, 2J, Toyota Supra. Seemed a bit frustrated at himself after that first run. Don't beat yourself up, just beat the track. It's all about you right now. Simon Olsen into that second outside zone. Looks a lot more possessed, Ryan. This is what Simon Olsen needs to do. Pass that second inside clip. Oh. A little bit of hiccup, but no, stay in it. Pin it to win it. Simon Olsen crosses the finish line. Oh, yo. That was close. But just, it seemed like a different driver from run 1 to run 2.
Yeah, certainly very happy to see all the drivers in this second run kind of batten down the hatches a little bit here and get the job done that they have in front of them. Take on the track, get a score on the board, and give us a full bracket of competition here. We know that Aasbo, right now as it currently stands, is going to have a buy into the top 16 with some of the DNSs that we saw and no-shows. But Simon Olsen is not going to be one of those. He's going to be moving on.
Yep, Simon Olsen completes. Definitely should pick his head up. That was a solid run there. Next up, Jonathan Castro. Jonathan Castro is up next. He is in the burnout box, and there's a 79 for Jonathan Castro, or excuse me, for Simon Olsen. Getting ahead of myself there. The Boost Race Fuel Toyota Supra, and now another Toyota, the Jadot Metaldom, Dominican Republic's own. And join us tomorrow, the pit party, the Fun Haver Tour presented by Type S, Saturday at 2 at the Fun Haver Tour activation. Autograph signing with Vaughn, Gittin Jr. and Chelsea Denofa. And that's going down 2 o'clock at the Fun Haver Tour activation in the pits. Jonathan Castro on the start line. We are clear to send. And here comes Castro on the Nexen tires. Jordo Metal Dom, Mobile 1 running through the veins. Let's see what you got. Castro had a great first run until he didn't. But it was the first half that was looking really strong. See if he can duplicate that and just end it on a high note. Looks like right now a little medium note. Now past the inside clip. Taking that shallower line, just putting it in between the lines of the second hash mark. Quick little lift there, going to that final outside zone.
It's coming unstuck right now. Get there, get
Oh
there.
my gosh.
You felt that developing, didn't you? From the inside clip.
It just was slowly going downhill. Ryan, I'm absolutely gutted for Castro.
Well, he may very well be the first victim of a double incomplete here, and it doesn't seem like any fault of his own here. It seems like the car was not cooperating,
breaking up
on the last section of the course, and he was, what do you think, 10 feet away from maybe getting away with it? Right here, this is where the car really starts acting up. Notice no tire smoke. He smartly takes that tighter line, keeps angling the car, but right there, you know, I don't know if they're going to give that a pass or not.
He just, unfortunately, just got to call it like I see it, and take the emotion out of it. That was unchaseable before the finish line. You're
making it real clear right now.
I mean, it's just what it is.
Truth be told.
I mean, it's not confirmed, and truth, I mean, just call it like I see him, and that isn't incomplete.
Yeah.
And we are getting confirmation, unfortunately for Castro, he will not be continuing on. That's the last we'll see of Castro in this 2021 season. Absolutely gutted for the Dominican Republican driver. Love Castro, but I mean, there's a testament right there, just being pushed off. So unfortunately, the Jordo Metal Dom, Nexen tire, Toyota 86.
Odi just got a bye.
Odi Bakchis just got a bye. Currently sitting 4th in points, but 2nd in qualifying. That means he will get a bye run. 3 more drivers left, and the air absolutely being sucked out of the room for Jonathan Castro. Jonathan Nairn, Trenton Beecham, and Federico Sharifo. Yep, you hate to see it. All right, coming into the burnout box, Jonathan Nairn. Yeah, just really feel for him, but he'll be back. Okay, and Nairn in Juku Racing. S14, the BC Racing on Nexen tires. And he's pulling up here to the start line in a moment. And here comes Nairn to the start line. Bears repeating. We just had our first 0-0 in the not so great 10 in this instance, because we had 10 drivers that failed to get a score on the first run.
It's tough, man. Bitter pill.
Yeah.
You have to remember, though, I'm just now kind of coming back around to this feeling that we have sometimes in our tail is nutrition factor.
Yeah, that's right. Just how long can the cars just hold together? Jonathan Nairn, you know, he's had some moments of greatness, but also having to battle just the development of that car. Comes in that second outside zone. Looks like he's got it dialed. Comes off of that outside zone a little early. Works with the edge of the track. Using all of it now. Goes. Oh boy. Brian, that transition. That's.
It was a very step transition. That one, I think maybe he can get away with it. But let's take a closer look at it. He's not making it easy on himself.
No, not at all.
The start of this run, I think, is working out pretty well for him. You know, he's staying kind of mid-line on the bank, below the actual zone part that the judges want to see you be inside. He's moving along pretty quickly here, gets that inside clip, back on throttle, pulls off the second outside zone, comes up a little bit tight. That's going to push him out wide here, and then he angles up, and then right there, that stepped. That was a little bit worse than I thought.
Yeah.
Dude, please say no. But, man.
Please say no.
No, I mean, you know, when the writing's on the wall, it's hard to deny it. You know,
Oh, yeah.
I'm just coming from a fan perspective, and yeah, now it is confirmed it's an incomplete.
That is 3 incomplete, 3 double incomplete. So
who's third place?
Sorry, who currently sitting third in qualifying? So again, Aasbo sits 1. Then Odi sits 2. And currently sitting third, we will find out. But right now, Trenton Beecham. Trenton Beecham and then Federico Sharifo. Unofficially, it's either Kazuya Taguchi or Michael Essa. We will find out. So again, unofficially, it's one of those 2 drivers who sits third that will get a bye run. Trenton Beecham on the start line. The Clonex Racing Ford Mustang sitting on Nexen tires. Second to last run of our final qualifying for round 8 of the Formula Drift Pro Championship. Final qualifying session for the year. See if Trenton Beecham can put it together. Initiates in the bank, flames shoot out of the back, and a plume of smoke. Trenton Beecham looking a lot more aggressive here on his second run. Taking a little tip from Alec, Robbins, and Brandon Sorensen. Past that front clip into the final outside zone. Says, hey, doing it for the glory. And Beecham, quite a contrast from his first run there, Ryan.
Yeah, that was coming correct on the second run. Definitely pulled it together, got himself a pass into the top 32. That's got to feel a lot better because he did adjust on some of those mistakes. And we did say that we knew he would be disappointed with that run. And he came back much better this time around. Smoother initiation. Good angle in the car. He's just down on the bank a little bit farther than you'd like to see. Nice job there on that inside clip. And then on the lower part of that outside zone. So good conservative play here. Relatively smooth. Not going to be your #1 qualifier, but we already know that. And he is going to be moving speedily into the top 32.
And even with him cross the finish line, looks like the thing is it's steaming. She's running hot. All right, so one more driver left to run. And that'll be Federico Sharifo. And that will be a 77 for Trenton Beecham. It's a 77 for Beecham as, all right, as the car is steaming, we're just gonna inspect the track, see if there's any fluids or liquids or anything on track. Ideally just run a little bit hot, no oil. But want to make sure as we have one more driver, Federico Sharifo, aka Fedi, has a clear track. All right. All right, thank you to Toyota for letting us use that Toyota Tundra, the brand new, all new Toyota Tundra, the 22 being debuted just last month. So thank you to Toyota for letting us use that Tundra and travel cross country. Kevin's Corner, Kevin Wells utilizing that truck, driving all across the country to our Formula Drift rounds. Federico Sharifo, our final driver, our final qualifying run of the 2021 season. And Fetty, just with the development of that vehicle, just, you know, there's no other drift Ferrari 599 GTBs in the world, so you just got to imagine just the parts and the progression, the development of it. Federico has been just really advantageous about just being unique, building something unique. He's drifted all over the world, from Italy, his home country, to Japan, and obviously here in the States. Our final qualifying run of 2021, Type S title fight. Where is Federico Sharifo going to land after his second run? Again, no better than 22 to 31. See Federico really fighting that wheel. Gosh, that attitude of that car. Tank slapper through that first outside zone. Now the second outside zone. Ryan looking a lot more settled here on the second run. Got one more final outside zone. Digging deep, and there we go. Federico Sharifo. Strong showing there by the Italian driver.
Yeah, I was getting a little worried there for a second. The car was looking a little cuckoo mongo for a little.
What?
That's an inside turn.
Okay, got it. Getting birded out?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
It means like it looks like it was going crazy.
Got it.
You saw the front end kind of swaying a little bit, and it got scary, but he was able to kind of compose himself, pull it back together. See right there, 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. And now he looks okay, much more settled, trying to get through this run, no major mistakes. And thankfully, we limit the bleeding to 3 buys, but not because we had not enough cars. We just saw drivers make mistakes or cars not working properly.
Right.
You know, that is super unfortunate. But for this guy right here, he's able to pull it off. He's in the 32.
That's right. Congratulations, Federico Sharifo, putting the run together. A lot of confidence for him now. Let's see where he goes as far as his second qualifying run. And looks like that will be a 78. That will be a 78 for Federico Sharifo. So he is in the show regardless, but looks like our 1 through 3 qualifying drivers will have bye runs due to the unfortunate double zeros of Castro and Narin. And with only 31 drivers, our #1 qualifier. This is all unofficial right now, but get everything dialed in. Thank you guys and gals so much for joining us. Congratulations to Federico Sharifo and our other 30 drivers. Head-to-head competition goes down tomorrow, both in the Link Engine Management Prospect Championship, and looks like that's what's cracking right there. And then Fredric Aasbo, our #1 qualifier. But there we see Federico pull off. So again, our top 8 of this Grade 8 continue on. Field, Tuerck, Robbins, Sorensen, Burkett, Simon Olsen, Beecham, and Federico Sharifo. All right, so unfortunately Castro and Narin are knocked out. So Aasbo and Bakchis earn a bye run. Congratulations to him. And again, our The number 3 qualifier will get down, and you will find out tomorrow. I believe it's either Michael Essa or Kazuya Taguchi. We'll find that out as, again, everything
They both
lands
had
where it will.
91s.
Both had 91s, and we're trying to find out what the tiebreaker is. Thank you. Next event, we join us tomorrow, 10:15 a.m. tomorrow. The Type S Formula Drift title fight here at the House of Drift, Irwindale Speedway. Ryan, you know, as we progressed on, we saw those incompletes in Pro Spec and then in Pro. What do you think the cause of that is, and what do you expect for tomorrow?
I mean, I think some attrition. You know, obviously we saw some mechanicals, but you know, you also, you know, have to put some of it to driving as well. Maybe there's some pressure going on there, but you know, whatever the case may be, the stage is now set.
Yep.
We know what our top 32 bracket is going to look like. We're going to be talking about the battles overnight and into tomorrow morning. This gentleman right here is one step closer. He's currently your leader in the 2021 championship, and he's your #1 qualifier. So he is doing everything that he could possibly do at this moment to give himself the best chance to capture a second championship. He would go into a league with very, very few people. Only Chris Forsberg, Samuel Hubenet, Tanner Faust, James Dean, and Vaughn Gittin Jr. of the literally hundreds of drivers that have come through the professional ranks have done something of that class.
Yep.
On the other hand, you've got Matt Field and Chelsea Denofa, Odi Bakchis looking for their first, and it's all going to go down tomorrow.
Well, thank you so much on behalf of Ryan Sage and our judges, our whole staff, all our drivers, all the teams, of course, our sponsors. Join us tomorrow at 10:15 a.m. for our Type S Formula Drift title fight. We'll set it here at the infamous House of Drift, Irwindale Speedway. We'll see you online, and we'll see you another time. Send it, Formula Drift Nation.